So I think we're live. Guys, we've never done this live before, but I thought, hey, who's better to have on as my guinea pig than Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads? You ready to do this, buddy?
Yeah!
Well, let's do this. Hey, what's up, bookworms? We are trying this live for the first time ever, so if things aren't working well, I hope you guys will ping us in the comments and let me know. But we're back to talk some more nothing, and I've invited Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads, guys. Andrew, what is up, my friend?
Not a whole lot. I'm actually, I've been nervous all week, but also super excited. So.
No, there's nothing to be nervous about. We're just, two guys talking about books and stuff, what else is there out there? That's what we do, right?
Yeah, that I kind of live and breathe books. Like, I literally don't do anything else.
Wow, someone just said, "What's up, mic worms?" I'm surprised I haven't used that before, but that actually sounds kind of disgusting. So let's not do that. So, guys,
let's not go with mic worms.
It's live, so anything can happen. We've always talked about I can do this live. I do live streams, all that. But it's the first time I'm doing one, live with a guest on the channel. So I messaged, actually, Andrew messaged me this morning. He's like, "Are we doing Zoom or StreamYard?" And I was like, "I don't even know what StreamYard is." And then I was like, "Well, that actually seems kind of interesting to be able to talk to you guys and get comments and stuff while we're doing it." So hope you guys will be patient with us if we have any technical difficulties or anything. So I hope it's all working right. I have no idea if it's all working right.
Yeah, no, I can see Philip Chase in the comments right now. We can pester him for a lecture.
Chase. I've heard of him. I've heard of him before. I think so.
He's got this interesting rivalry with a guy named Professor Fireballs.
I've heard of him. I don't know about Philip Chase though. He sounds like, I don't know. He sounds like that guy in high school that I knew that was always like, real smart. Try to cheat off his paper or something like if you're reading Beowulf, you wanted to kind of like cheat off his paper because you didn't know what was going on. But other than that, guys, if you want to drop us some comments, we are really going to still use the Talk About Nothing format and stuff like that. So we will try to kind of answer those once in a while, but we are still going to kind of mostly talk to each other. But we appreciate you guys tuning in to talk to us here. So Andrew, when you started your channel, did you think you'd be at 1,000 subs this fast and talking to just some schmuck like me on a live stream? Did that cross your mind that this would ever happen?
The schmuck like you. No, I'm actually starting to approach 2K. I'm about I think 9 subs as of this morning away from 1,700.
Guys,
but no,
go sub his channel right now. Go do it. Go. Thank you.
No, I really didn't. It's funny because the way I started my channel is this weird kind of just daisy chain of shout outs. Like so I discovered your channel. You shouted out Mark from Slowly Read. Mark shouted out my buddy Nico. And then Nico and Megan from Megan's Reading Revelations ganged up on me and told me to get in front of the camera. And the first video was awful. So I didn't think this was going to go anywhere. I put absolutely no stock in myself as a booktuber. And, when you start out, you're kind of like a little wooden. I watched even your delivery has changed because I watched your video this morning about
my very first video.
Yeah. You're showing snippets from the first video from 3 years ago. And even your delivery is smoother and you're able to transition a lot better. And my first video was garbage.
Well, I tell everybody, hey, don't worry about production or anything for that first video because it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
You're going to look back on it and think it's terrible. So just the hardest step is just turn the camera on and just doing it the first time.
Absolutely.
Because here at 3 years in, and I'm still learning new things every single time I do this. So, most of us are introverts. I'm a little bit more of an extrovert than most, book readers are. But, it's the hardest step, like I said, is getting in front of the camera. So you got the hard part over. Now you just get the tweak.
Yeah, right. I'm more of an extroverted introvert.
Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah,
there we go. I know there's a term for it, and I just usually forget it.
So when you first started the channel, what was your idea? Just to were you gonna do like vlogs? Were you gonna just were you gonna do just reviews? Were you gonna just what did you have any plan at all? Or you just whatever I feel like talking about?
Well, so there's there's the classic booktube structure where it's book review, book haul, tags, TBRs and stuff like that. So I set out, it's kind of like this ready-made structure for anybody to hop in and become a functioning booktuber. And then, like, of course, as you start exploring more, you get into your more discussion type videos, which, you know, Philip Chase and Joanna and, you know, Daniel Green, Murphy Napier, all of them are really great at discussion style videos. And so you kind of morph into that. But my initial like thing that I wanted to do was just, I think, I don't even remember what my first book review was. Might have been Powder Mage. I don't know. It's been a while. But I just wanted to start talking about books and see if I could do, just to see if I could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, did anybody really need a reason? Like I said, it was kind of a happy accident for me because I didn't even realize BookTube was a thing when I was like, why are all these Wheel of Time things I've got getting so many views? And so I just like started searching out like book review, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like a whole big giant thing. I had no idea. So
my boss turned me onto it. Like, my boss was watching Daniel Green and he's like, hey, have you heard of this guy? And I'm like,
my boss was this cool. Jesus.
You know, I've got like 3 people in real life who will talk books with me.
I had one, and he was getting his doctorate, so he wasn't reading very much.
He wasn't reading the same thing you were.
I'm going to talk about here. All right, let's look at a couple of these comments real fast. Fuego, that's from the horror show, guys. He's having like some YouTube difficulties right now, and I feel terrible for the guy. Stopping by to shout out the interweb's best booktuber. I think he's talking about you. I watch significantly more than read, so can't hold a candle. No. That's the guy actually who encouraged me to start doing Into the Multiverse. Stephen King. That guy is the authority.
Awesome.
For Stephen King, you guys. So check him out if you have not. Well, when he gets his channel fixed, YouTube's giving him a hard time right now, but hopefully he'll get that checked out. Let's see here.
The End of the Multiverse helped kind of reignite my love for King. So
yeah. Were you a reader of his before and just kind of taking a break, or?
I kind of dabbled in my teenage years. So I read the first 5.5 Dark Tower books, and then I remember trying Cell, and Cell grossed me out.
Well,
really quickly.
Yeah, that's a way to turn your stomach on King right away with Cell.
Yeah, and then Pet Sematary scared the pants off of me, and I fell in love with The Shining.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm finally back into King.
Hey, check this out. My 2 favorite BookTube streamers. Isn't that very sweet?
Thank you. That's so awesome.
Nice. Reading Rainbow. That's a great name. Oh, here's that name again. It's been a long day of work, and I'm ready to relax. Listen to you 2 fine gentlemen. Philip Chase. Again, I swear that sounds like some guy I knew in high school.
I swear, he really sounds almost
jaw,
like a guy I've been doing a series of videos with.
Yeah, he might know a thing or two.
Yeah.
Rob P. Quinn. Thank you, Rob. You're very awesome. Love your videos. Mike just started rereading It for the 5th time. It still holds up in my opinion now. Now, have you read that one, Andrew?
I have. I read it with Sarah.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I read it with Sarah from Sarah Reads for the first time, I believe this year. It was either this year or late last year.
Yeah, I remember when Dune came out, and everyone knows that Dune's like my thing, and everyone was asking me to come on and talk to them about Dune because they were reading it before the movie came out, and I had a schedule to talk to Sarah, and I assumed it was about Dune. She's like, I had all my Dune books set up, and she was like, we're talking about It, right? I was like, oh, thank God. Just because I was like, finally I get to talk about another book, so that's a
yeah. I also did a live show with her and Baron from Your Brain on Books.
I don't know if I know that. Well, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Baron's legit. He's like the one take king. He does almost all of his videos in one take, unless he's got to like cut to like go take care of his family or something.
I could do all mine in one take, but I usually like either if I have to yell at my kids or I do tend to ramble. People don't think that I will ramble, but I do. I do tend to ramble a lot more because I like to try to keep my videos right about 20 minutes. And when I realize I'm looking at the thing, I'm like, I'm at like 27 minutes. I'm going to cut some things out. And a lot of people are like, just put it all up there. I'm like, no, I like to kind of keep a format. And, I don't think you guys need to start, when I start talking about this thing over here, like, here's the book, and I'm talking about this thing over here. And like, what are you even doing anymore? So I try not to do that. Oh, here's your rival. Who is your favorite wizard, me or Andrew? LOL, I wizard.
That's fighting words.
That would be like Saruman versus Gandalf, man. I'm here for it.
I guess it's going to be wizards or wands at dawn. You text me with the time and place.
Bald booktuber Scott here. Everything is great, and Andrew now even likes the books I do after ages of automatically hating my favorites. What did you hate?
So there was this thing it was months where I would just randomly like drop a review or a rating on a book, and it would just happen to be a book that Scott loves, and I would just crap all over it, and Scott would just be like throwing hands up. Of course, Andrew hates it. We found some more common ground with Dark Tower and Sun Eater.
Nice.
So things are looking up.
All right. Well, this can be the hot take section. What did you hate? Because I mean, my big unpopular opinion is Name of the Wind. I think that book I have no idea why that book's so popular. I feel like that guy.
I share that opinion.
I feel like that guy did like some thing like on Buffy where like Xander made a wish and it went the wrong way. That's what I kind of feel like that guy did with that book, is that he just made this wish everyone was going to love it. Because whenever I ask anybody what they love about it, like, well, it's just beautifully written. Well, I know a lot of books that are beautifully written.
I will admit it is beautifully written, but it is so long. It is so over long. And
but you actually read the sequel, though, right?
I DNF'd the sequel exactly, and this was funny because I had a copy of it that I looked at recently before I unhauled it. I had a post-it note exactly 50% in on to the page, and that's like a 1,000-page book, which is hilarious. But like the first 300 pages was just more Name of the Wind. Like it was like he just kept writing and then like cut Name of the Wind in a weird place, and then there's like this whole adventure that gets shortened down to a paragraph. And I didn't like the love interest, but I think so. This is where you may. I actually know we diverge here.
All right.
I did not like First Law until Red Country. Red Country was the one that brought it home for me.
That's my least favorite one.
See, I know it's your least favorite one. And so I think Scott and I had an issue there. I don't remember a whole bunch of the ones. Like I would just literally talk about any book and it would be one that Scott loved.
I feel like anytime I say anything other than Robin Hobb hung the moon, Scott feels like I'm attacking him personally, but that's why we love him, right?
Yeah, no, Scott's awesome. Robin Hobb can do wrong.
It's called Assassin's Quest.
No, we're gonna divulge there too. I actually like Assassin's Quest. Wait till you get to the Rain Wild Chronicles and then come tell me that. Well,
I've heard like Patrick. He says that's like one of his favorite fan series ever. And except Rain Wilds.
Yeah, Patrick will go except, and Jimmy does the exact same thing except Rain Wilds.
Paul wants to know if we read Playboy.
No.
I don't think I've ever been accused of reading Playboy.
At least not since I was a teenager. No.
This Philip guy again. Everyone's first video is awful. It's a lot. I bet yours is probably pretty good, Philip. You probably said,
his
welcome to my channel, and it was excellent after that.
On the best of fantasy.
He's got that timbre in his voice and that square jaw. And
the square jaw with the perfect beard.
Yeah, I know, right?
That perfect salt and pepper too.
Dude, when we did our Beowulf review, I was like, man, I gotta like try to like look professional. I got like a nice sweater on, like my glasses and stuff. Yeah. Because I was like, I look like a schlub when I do a video.
He's got his nice tweed jacket on. Yeah.
He's okay though. He's okay.
Yeah, no, I like him. I do like Assassin's Quest, but I think it matters what you're reading Assassin's Quest for. If you're there for the journey that Fitz is going through, and you don't mind the minutia, you're gonna like Assassin's Quest. But if you're there for like a more compelling story, I can see why Assassin's Quest can be a little bit, because he is just gonna go off on the left field and do his thing for 300 pages.
After that book, I was like, I never want to hear about elf bark or snow or talking about hunting ever again. Leslie here, Nerdy Narrative. I cringe when anybody watches my first videos. Now, Leslie, look, Wheel of Time brought a lot of people to my channel. And I still, to this day, get people telling me how much they appreciate those old videos. But I cringe knowing that might be someone's first taste of this channel. When like my lips don't even match up the audio and it looks like I'm shooting it on like a Nokia 720 or something. So, I definitely get that feeling.
Leslie's my Booktube big sister. I've got nothing but... I talk with Leslie pretty much like at least 3 to 4 times a week via a Voxer app, which is basically just walkie-talkie.
Here's one for you from Brent. Ask Andrew if he's ready to take care of another human and if he's still going to read 18 books a month. LOLs tonight.
So I do already take care of a human. I do have a 2-year-old daughter. I will not be continuing the 18 books a month thing. Next month, I've got 12 books loaded, which is still a lot. A lot of that is audio.
Say that's cutting it down to 12, huh?
Yeah, 12 is cutting it down from 12 is going back to what I was doing last year. So I usually average about 10 to 12 a month. I've front loaded my reading this month or the first half of the year because I do have a child doing a couple 5 weeks.
Well, congratulations early, because
here's
the thing. One kid, it was easy for me. It was like, it's like taking care of a pet.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. You just gotta keep it alive, It's like just like a piece of meat I got to keep living. Second kid showed up.
It all changed.
Whole different world. That's where all the grays right here came from, my man. That's it right there.
I've already got a little bit of salt and pepper. The camera hides it pretty well, but it's there.
Yeah, it's a good time. They're talking about the bringing it down to like 12 books. Here's the thing: it's like the comments in all my videos. People are like, "Wow, I don't know how you read like 6 books a month." I'm like, everybody else out there, like on my Discord's like, I read 22 books this month. What the hell?
I've got a friend named Twainy. Shout out to Twainy, because Twainy, we did a read along in the I've forgotten the name of the Discord. Shelf Space. There we go. Shelf Space Discord last year for the Olympics readathon, and Twainy read like 32 books that month. It was insane. I was just like, how do you do it?
I mean, me not being an audio guy, I mean, obviously I'm reading everything eyes only, so I'm not going to be able to read as much as some other people. Plus, I do work full time,
Yeah,
I do this channel mostly full time. But I don't know. I just feel like even if I could audio, I feel like that amount, I would start like not retaining anything. Because I mean, I read 8 books, I think, last September, and I'm like, yeah, a couple of those might be a blur because I read 8 books in a month.
That is definitely a risk that you run when you do a lot of audio. In fact, right now I'm kind of in a bit of a slump. I'm kind of riding that line. I've actually got a video coming out about like reading slumps by the end of this month. And I'm currently in the middle of 4 books because I keep fuzzing and I keep switching books to try and find the one that's going to grab my attention.
It's really weird. Since I decided to take a Malazan break, I haven't had a reading slump. Weird. And it's not detracting really from Malazan as much as it's just saying, guys. It's just saying that requires a lot of brain power.
It does. I tapped out after Memories of Ice. I was just like,
that's when it was still actually pretty fast paced.
I was like, I need to take a break. I'm actually in the middle of a reread of Wheel of Time, but that's nothing.
How far are you in? Oh, it's a reread.
Okay. Yeah. No. The risk you run live. Yeah. Getting tongue tied.
It's not about if you speak well. It's about the recovery.
Yeah, it's about the recovery. Wheel of Time is one of my fantasy origins. That and Lord of the Rings. I'm way overdue for a Lord of the Rings reread. But
yeah, me too. And I read it in 2019. Yeah, but I'm overdue.
No, I'm like 2014.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm well overdue. But I'm on. I just read about 16 chapters of Dragon Reborn today. So I'm trucking along.
Or as I like to call it, the School of Hogwarts Witchcraft and Wizardry, because that was a book I was like, wait. So this book's called The Dragon Reborn. And The Dragon Reborn is in the book for like 3 chapters.
Yeah. No, Rand just, that's the thing that Wheel of Time does. It's like characters will just
disappear.
They'll just throw deuces and just ghost you for like 2 books.
They're like, oh, everybody likes Matt now? You ain't gonna have him for a whole book. How about that?
Yeah. I had a comment in my Discord today. They were like, "Oh, great! Now that Matt's awake, can I finally like him?"
Yeah, I think if you go back to those early videos, I'm like, everybody tells me this is their favorite character. I'm like, dude, don't do anything except be sick or asleep.
Yeah, no, he gets better. It grows on you.
Just subscribe to Andy. So I think
we're
gonna get you there by the end of this episode. I'm telling you,
man. I'm here for it.
Madison says, "Hey there, fellas. How you?
What up, Madison?"
Yeah. Heard of her as well. Yeah, she's pretty much I think pretty much like she runs my Discord at this point. I really think so. I should just go give her admin rights. I think
I vaguely remember her from some live show series about Wheel of Time episodes, and then there was this other scruffy guy on there.
Don't know. I can't read too many books. Watching booktubers consumes all my time.
It's dangerous.
I feel bad because look, guys, it's like I work full time. This takes a lot of time, and I read a lot. So I don't have, because I can't. They block YouTube at work, so I can't actually keep up with everybody's channels. So I really just, when I can, I will try to catch up with some people's stuff. So it sucks because I want to support as everybody as much as I can, but
Yeah, I try and watch. I definitely try and watch my immediate friends' channels, especially like if my mods have channels, I try and watch those. If my fellow admin on the Discord, Nico, drops a video, I try and watch that. Leslie, Alan, Philip, the brothers Gwyn are back.
Yeah, I saw.
I watched that today. That was great. So I do have my favorites. Patrick, of course.
Yeah, I watched Philip, even though I've never heard of him before, but I do watch his stuff. So, in case I ever need to know, like,
if you ever
goals,
need to be schooled on Malazan.
goals. If I need to know that I'm saying Malazan wrong, I could definitely listen to his channel. Your rival again wants us to weigh in on the Lord of the Rings. I think we just kind of sort of did that. I think it's got a future. It's got a chance to be really, really great if it takes hold, Jordan. I think it could be a big thing, Lord of the Rings.
Maybe. I think if it hasn't taken hold after like this, 60, 70 years, it's not gonna like
might have a future.
Yeah.
Loving my first Stephen King read through. Unfortunately, your road work is next. If you guys have been watching my my ranking series, that's the only one I have in the bottom category right now is road work.
Really, I remember I just read Night Shift with Jake the Bookus Drummer. He's a huge constant reader, and one of the ones in that collection that just threw me because when I found out it had a movie was Lawnmower Man.
Oh my god, that movie was so bad. Stephen King like sued to get his name off of it.
Well, I want to watch it now. I also found out The Mangler also has a movie, and I want to see that one too.
There's three Mangler movies.
There's 3 Mangler
There's like
movies.
9 Children of the Corn movies. Yeah, even though these are only short stories. Yeah,
that's like I read Lawnmower Man and was just like, what is going on? Like this guy.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. It's amazing. It has like an awesome cast. I can't think of the guy's name. He was on Lost. The actor that played the main character, and Pierce Brosnan's in that movie. It's like this is like a great cast. Yeah, it's like a great cast. Like how did this get made, man? Even in like 1990, how did this get made?
I don't know, but I'm curious to watch them.
Well, the thing is, you can always count on there being many more bad Stephen King adaptations than good ones.
Yeah, there's very few good ones.
Monica said. I don't know if that's the Monica who's MIA on my Discord, but if it is, it's good to see you. But if it's not, hey, Monica, how are you? I read it a few summers ago, and I think it's the perfect summer book. I was so nostalgic for summers as a kid, except for the big, giant, 8-foot-tall clown with razor-sharp teeth. I agree.
Yeah. I actually consumed it because the copy of it that I've got is the UK Houghton and Mifflin one, or I think I've said that company name wrong. It's the one that like I showed people I had, and they got mad at me for having it because apparently it's rare. And so I was told I wasn't allowed to physically read it from that copy. So I listened to the audiobook. It was like $80 or something like that to buy it.
Yeah, I was raised in a very strict religious household, and Mom was like, you're not reading that satanic Stephen King stuff. So I had to keep it a secret when I read it. And I read it just basically when she was asleep over the summer when I first moved to Houston at 15. And that was like my gateway. But it took me the whole summer because I could only read it, for like, an hour before I fell asleep each night after she was asleep and not going to catch me. It's like when we were younger and we used to have to, hide our Kiss records and like Beach Boy album covers and stuff, because I'm old enough that we actually had vinyl still, guys.
I had a ZZ Top vinyl just hanging on my wall.
See, that's where I'm like, I tell my kids, I don't care what you want to listen to, man. Just listen to whatever. My generation, we had nothing wrong with us that our parents had to make up something like Satanic Panic. They had to make stuff up to find things wrong with my generation. They didn't have like social media and stuff like we got to do now. It's terrible. It's terrible, guys.
Speaking of music, I remember, this just popped into my head. I remember the first time my dad runs a karate school. And so we used to like just work out and there'd be music in the background. And I had stolen his Back in Black CD and I played it. And he's looking at me. He's like, you enjoy this? And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. He was like, this is my music. Like this is the 80s. And
my kids are usually like, why are you listening to this old stuff? Is what it is. I'm sorry it's not like Super Mario Brothers music. Well, yeah,
I remember being like 10 or 11 and just loving AC/DC.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not really? Name of the this is a good one. Name
of the about exactly
book about nothing. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about nothing. When we talk about a book about nothing, I know everybody like seems to really love that book, and I'm not gonna deny the guy is a super talented writer. I mean, when he used to write, at this point, it's like I said about George. Can you call someone a writer if it's been a decade? I don't think you're a writer. You're a former writer. At least that's a decade is your window. Okay. Decade is your window before you're like, you don't do that anymore. You're a former writer. Like I could say, you know what? I used to work in risk analysis like 12 years ago. I can't say I work in risk analysis anymore. Yeah. It's been a long time, so that's just how I look at it. But
I mean, he claims that, both of these authors, Germ and Rothfuss, claim that the books are coming.
Yeah, sure they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's a hot take for you. Christopher Rocchio is a better writer than Patrick Rothfuss.
Oh,
Boom.
that's not a hot take. That's facts.
All right. So I hope more people will.
That's
I think about when I first did my Sun Reader review, and like no one even knew what I was talking about. No idea at all.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. There's a reason they only did a 5,000 copy run. I mean, he was up and coming. And
I'm pretty sure the question he gets the most is, how do I get a hardcover of the original book?
Man,
did you get one?
Just needs. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, I got one. Yeah. So I got to get it signed. I got the rest of them signed. I'll have that one signed. Yeah, nice.
I need to. So I asked him in the Discord, in your Discord. I was like, how do I get nameplates? And like, apparently it's one of his perks for his Patreon. So I guess I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
I
was joking with him because Madison actually signed up to his Patreon, and he sent her those plates, and I was like, what the heck, man? I got like 1 million people to buy your book, and I don't get nothing. Teacher, just joking around. And then he sent me one anyway.
Hey, I mean, it works. It works, man. The perks of being a promoter.
But yeah, I know that a lot of people now, they think, oh, well, because me and Christopher become friends, and they think, oh, you only promote his books because you guys are friends now. I mean,
no,
guys, I wouldn't do that. I don't lie to you on this channel. And I was like, I can't think of very many people that I have gotten to read those books that don't either love them or like, well, I'm at least going to keep reading, So it's just one of those things where I feel like it's just no guy out there, I think, that would want to have success more, because he's a genuinely good person. He spends so much time talking to us when he doesn't have to do that. I mean, how amazing was that? Like on release week, I would consider a well-known at this point published author talking to us about his new book the week that it comes out.
He was everywhere. He was making the rounds on Booktube.
Yeah, he's all over the place. So.
It's funny because with Empire of Silence, I liked it. I thought he had like a little bit too much of his influences kind of on his sleeve for that one. And then like I started Howling Dark. I got mad at Howling Dark because of the bait and switch kind of that he kind of does. And everyone was like, just calm down, read it. And so like I was like, I shelved it for 2 months. I came back, and I was telling you before we went live, I read Howling Dark and Demon White like that. Like I just flew. I couldn't put him down.
For some reason, and maybe it's because I don't audio, but I cannot binge his books. I try, man. There's just too much. Like Demon and White took me like 3 weeks because it was just.
I did 4 days.
Wow, that's amazing.
With audio, and he's got Samuel Rukin, which Samuel Rukin just does a good job on audio.
The thing is, like, I feel like I know more about audiobook narrators than anyone else on the planet who doesn't listen to audiobooks, because that's the conversation that dominates the Discord. Like when that happens, I'm just like Homer in the bushes. I'm like, I don't even know what y'all are talking about right now. You just kind
of recede into the background.
Every review I do, like I could do a Dresden Files video tomorrow, right? And I've done a video for every single book in that series. I could do a video tomorrow and someone will be like, hey, did you know James Marshers does the audiobooks? He played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware at this point. But I like I said, I feel like I know I know Tim Gerard Reynolds reads Red Rising, and apparently he's very good. He's very Irish. I listened to a clip. I know this Samuel Rukin guy now because of so many people talking about him on the Discord. And really, I was getting messages about how Doriaika, one of the characters in Sun Eater, sounds like a complete dork on it. But someone actually sent me a sound clip of that on Instagram, and I was just like laughing because I was like, that's not what I pictured at all. But I think it's a lot of people think that I have like this hot take about audiobooks. I don't. I think however you consume the product, whatever works for you in your life, man. You ain't got time to just sit down and read. I get it, man. If you are one of those people, I wish I could like listen to an audiobook while I was doing dishes. I would get so much more done, but I can't. I have to listen to my kids killing each other. I mean, that's my problem is I think when you have kids, you get you're just starting to get pretty vocal at this age. Terrible twos. You get to that point where you block out sounds you don't want to hear.
Oh yeah.
And I think I did that with kids. And so when I tried to listen to audiobooks, I was like, I realized I can't turn that off. I just can't pay attention to it. So people are like, how do you read so much if you have ADD? I'm like, well, there's a difference between listening ADD and reading ADD. And I don't have it with reading very clearly. But I read something like Malazan. I'm like, I don't have any idea how someone can audio that and pick everything up. I'm reading with my eyes and I can't pick all this up.
Yeah. It's funny because when you're passionate about something and you've got like ADD, because I grew up attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I'm energetic. You can tell I'm hyper. But my punishment used to be go sit in the middle of your room or go sit on your bed and read. we don't want to hear you. You're in trouble. Yeah, like that's my punishment. I knew I knew I was in trouble when they took the books.
Yeah. Go to your room and don't read.
So when you're passionate about something and you can really focus in, ADD can just be turned off. But like it's got to be like the select thing that you're passionate about. Like a lot of people with video games, like they can just sit there all day and play video games, but they can't focus on a conversation.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What? No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I get what you mean. I mean, that's my kid. You know, he can play Roblox for 12 hours. But if I have a conversation with him by the second minute, I'm like, did you hear what I just said? Like, no.
Nothing you say matters or applies to my
that's
life.
Karma. I did the same thing to my parents. Check this one out. I almost started Name of the Wind, but Mike's take kind of kept me at bay as our tastes seemed to align. Well, book reading, I always tell people, read it. And even in that video, my unpopular opinion, I tell people, read it, make up your own mind. But I do get that. Like, I don't know if you guys watch it as a movie reviewer, Jeremy Johns, very popular. I mean, he has like 3 million subscribers, so I'm sure you guys have heard of him. It's not like it's some, not telling you about this secret independent band or anything like that. But I always say, I feel like that guy and I were separated at birth because we've never had a movie opinion that has varied like at all. So I have gotten to the point to where if he tells me a movie's trash, I believe him. And I don't play it, or I don't watch it. So I get that. But I don't say that too loud, book reading, because people torches and pitchforks me more so than usual.
I don't know. Name of the Wind. It's one of those ones that because it was one of my first Booktube like recommendations that I picked up and I read it. I think Liza Locklamora and Name of the Wind were like the first ones that I picked up, and I actually soft DNF'd Liza Locklamora to read Name of the Wind, and that was a huge mistake.
Yeah, well, that's my other. That one is like I don't dislike it as much as I just like I thought it was fine, and I know that
I put it down once the heist started or the long cons started. I lost interest.
Yeah, same with me. It was like it's just I understand what they're doing. It's I don't know, and then it's just like I feel like it was a narrative problem for me. The structure. It was just like all over the place. I felt like I was watching like Green Arrow, where it's like going back, or Lost, where it's doing like the flashback. It's like every time we need a way for them to get out, let's go to this flashback about how they're going to secretly get this ability out of nowhere. That's what I always felt like it was.
Green Arrow jumped the shark when it came to the flashback, because then they had to make it a thing in the show where like every season there was like a flashback, but like everything was happening in sequential order. So like as the year went on,
because Lost changed it to flash forwards after that. I think that helped prolong it a little longer. But yeah, once your show catches up with real time, it's hard to keep it going. Like kind of when they were doing the 70s show and like it was 1979, like November for like 4 seasons, because they realized, oh shit.
We've run out of time. We moved too fast.
This one's for you. Assassin's Quest was great.
Yes, there we go. Thank you. Mike's wrong. I'm just kidding.
Anything other than Hobb is the greatest of all time is simply wrong. These takes, these are up there.
Scott, do you like? I'm sure we'll go to this comment in the next 40 minutes. Do you like Rainwild Chronicles?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think that he said with Assassin's Quest is like, look, he thinks it's great because it's Hobb, but he said, yeah, it would be in like his lower third. So he understands. He just, he felt personally attacked. I just subscribed to Andy because he didn't like the blade itself.
I just got the broken binding. I like the blade itself. I just got the broken binding special edition and hardcover.
All right, so he's going to try again. So resubscribe.
Yeah. Go ahead and resubscribe. I promise.
Oh, that's a fun question. What do you like about each other's channels? I'll tell you right away. His energy, guys, because I used to think I had high energy, and then I watched his channel. I'm like, whoa, I need to put some more pep in my stuff, because I think besides maybe Alan, you probably have the most energy in your videos that I feel like wish I could just like borrow some of that sometimes, because I do like think I'm usually, I don't think I'm ever boring.
You're pretty,
but happy. I do think sometimes I'm editing a video and I'm like, I feel like I need a little bit more energy in this video. So yeah, I would say definitely that.
If I had to like pinpoint, so like basically I structured the majority of my channel off of what you were doing, as I took a lot of inspiration from your channel because I thought it was engaging. I liked the way you engaged with your community, where like, I think I first discovered your channel, I think right around the time of the Great Coats read along, which I loved those books.
I did too.
Well, it's funny because don't let me get sidetracked. Otherwise I will. But I like your honesty. I like the way you engage with your audience, your transparency. with your weekly updates, what you're reading. I like the fact that you talk not just about the books, but I'm actually one of the people who watch your statistics sections of your monthly wrap-ups. So I'm one of those guys. And so I thought there was a lot to not only borrow from, but be inspired by on your channel.
That's fine. I have people message me all the time. Hey, I was going to do like this, or I was going to do like a dramatic reading and over music. Is it okay with you? And I'm like, I don't have rights to any of this stuff, guys. Do what makes you feel good. So when Philip told me, hey, yeah, I'm going to steal your weekly update. And he's like, hey, I'm going to steal your talk about nothing. And I even named that one for him.
Yeah, I saw that. I want to watch that one.
You're not stealing anything. I don't own these things. And I think that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery that it can get. Now, if you steal something from someone and then you talk dirt about them, then that's kind of like, well, what the hell, man? But I don't know.
I try to keep it pretty clean here on Booktube.
Yeah. Can we have Andrew's channel? You want to go ahead and tell them where they can find you?
Sure. I can be found at Andrew's Wizardly Reads. That is literally the channel name, and it should be pretty easy to find. I think I'm the only one on YouTube that I know of.
He's the only Andrew, you guys. All right.
Well, no, that is definitely not true. But
Rob Quinn being way too nice. Hush, Mike, you look great. It's because I'm using the webcam. It doesn't show all the fine details of like my Canon does. That's
I got to tell you what. Like before we went live, I ran around trying to fix my lighting because usually with my lighting, I use the bright white lights and I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. I become a Twilight vampire where I start shining.
Yeah. Someone today left a comment on my Red Country review. Funny, that's the second time that's come up today. And they just said, wow, that's the first time I went back and watched this. And I was amazed by how young you look. And I was like, first I was like, you know what? The hell with you. And then I was like, no, it's because I was still using a webcam. It doesn't show it doesn't show the crow's feet, and things like that. It doesn't show
the fine detail.
Yeah. So Philip says his true seekers, glasses and tweed will make anyone look smart. I disagree, sir, because I parodied you before our Deadhouse Gates discussion, and I just looked like a schmuck.
Listen, I've got the glasses. I don't think I'll look good in tweed, Philip.
Yeah, one of my patrons, Steph, she has this thing for guys in glasses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing our Zoom call one time, and I was wearing my glasses because I do wear glasses. And she's like, "Oh, are you just wearing those because you know that I like guys that wear glasses?" I was like, well, I mean, it doesn't hurt, but honey, no, I'm wearing glasses because I'm going blind.
Oh no, I've worn these things. I have to wear these full time. I am 100% like I can't see nothing. I've had these since the 3rd grade.
No one agrees 100%. That's why we have libraries. I mean, I agree. That's the whole reason I started the channel. I was like, it seemed like we got to the point where everyone was like, you must have the same opinion as me or you're an asshole. And I was like, what in the world? When did this start? I'm not talking about like this politics. I'm talking about like, I like Man of Steel. You're wrong. I mean, when did this happen?
I like Man of Steel. I like Henry Cavill as Superman.
I think he's a great Superman. They just, they won't use him.
I actually just re-upped my library card like 3 weeks ago. I hadn't had one in like 6 years.
I am actually donating a bunch of books to my library because I don't have room for them anymore. So everybody's always like, hey, you ever think about doing an unhaul video? And I was like, LOL, bro. I don't unhaul books. Now I'm like, yeah,
you got to. You got to. I literally unhaul off screen. Like if I DNF something and I know I'm not coming back to it, it's going to the.
I think when I was like, I read 2 of these Poppy War books and it ain't working for me. That's when I was like, I think maybe this unhaul thing might actually happen because I'm not. Why do I got 3 giant hardcovers up there if it's a series I didn't really care for?
I got through 1 Poppy War book and then I do a series called DNF Redemption, where I put forth 5 series that I've DNF'd, and then I let my comment section vote, and then whatever wins, I will give a second shot to. Dragon Republic 1. I made it 2 chapters in, and I was like, nope.
I wish I could tell you it got better, but yeah.
Well, so it got to this point where, like, and I don't really consider this a spoiler, but like Ren's like, oh, you can't go on the mission because you'll be compromised, and then like she gets compromised on the mission. They're like, you should go back, and she's like, no, I'm the best, and it's like, okay, I'm done.
It had all those things about YA fantasy. I don't like. Here's my big sticking point when it comes to YA fantasy is the insubordination, where you just like, maybe it's I watch too much Star Trek, so I follow chain of command. That's your superior officer. You don't have to like what they're saying, but you need to listen. And that all the time, they would just they would talk out of line. They would, hell, she actually takes a swing at her commanding officer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, No repercussion. I'm like, what in the world is
Yeah.
this? How does anything in this troop work if you don't have a chain of command? It doesn't make sense. And that's the thing that drives me crazy about YA fantasy. The yes, queen moments. That stuff drives me nuts. Is it
Speaking of Star,
empowering? Maybe. Does it make sense? No, it
no.
doesn't.
Tell a good story. If you can do it while telling a good story that makes sense, I'm all for it. But it's got to make sense. But speaking of Star Trek, we got Strange New Worlds coming out in like a couple weeks. Are you excited for that?
Man, I've been out on Star Trek since Deep Space Nine. I think was the last
Really?
one. Great. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even like Voyager except 7 of 9, a leotard. Other than that, I wasn't really. I like Captain Janeway. She was okay.
I mean, 7 of 9. There's a lot to like there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was a teenage boy at the time. I was definitely, if I was flipping through the channels, I wasn't changing it. I'm just putting it that way. But yeah, I don't feel like Star Trek now has just kind of lost the plot. It seems like Star Trek's tried to become Star Wars, and Star Wars has tried to become I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah, it just I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same to me anymore. But I did Discovery for a bit, and
I tried Discovery, and I got like 4 or 5 episodes in, and I lost interest.
So check this out. I'm starting to feel like the only person on the planet who loved Rain Wilds. The dragons were rad. The characters were no more messed up than any other Hobb series for me.
I love Nikki. Nikki's awesome. She's got a great channel. And I feel bad for trashing on books that you like. I'm sorry, Nikki.
Yeah, and that's why I say I always try to be like positive. And I'm like, I kind of am in that Philip mode where it's like, if I didn't like the book, I'm probably not going to talk about it. I'm probably not going to review it because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to trash a book because I had to do that one time on the channel. I felt sick afterwards. And it was The Hunger by Almakatsu. And I felt so bad. The only reason I did it is because I had made my Fright Fest schedule in advance. And so I had to review it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to lie and say I loved it. And so ever since I was like, I'm not going to review a book that I just did not like at all, because I just feel terrible, because there might be someone out there, like I said, that they're not going to give Name of the Wind a chance because of me. There might be someone out there who wants to give The Hunger a chance. And I just took money out of her pocket, and I feel bad about that. So
that's fair. For me, Robin Hobb is such a big author that and there's so much in the realm of the Elderlings to love. The Live Ship Traders is fantastic. Tawny Man is amazing. Shorter books too. They're Fitz books, but they're shorter. They're shorter than Assassin's Quest.
I flirted with the idea of reading just the Fitz books, and I think Jake Bishop was ready to fight me. So I said, okay, I'll read Live Ship. All right.
Live Ship they are some, so I've got them right here actually.
There's some chunkers, aren't they?
They are some chunkers. Oh God, I actually need 2 hands. That's my head. Yeah, there's some big boys, but the problem with Rain Wilds is it feels like what they did with the Hobbit movies. It felt like there wasn't enough material to justify 4 books. And initially it was 2 books, but the publishers made her split it into 4, and so it just feels like a cash grab on the publisher's side. And it's also for about a month, it ruined dragons for me, just because they are super petulant.
Wow. Do the dragons talk in that series?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. At this rate, who knows? I read Farseer over a year ago.
It's been a while since you read Farseer.
I haven't went back. And that was never like a thing. It was like, I told everyone when I started, I am doing Farseer. I've got a tight schedule. That was before I decided to be like, you know what, forget all this read along crap. Just get back to reading freedom like I have now. And it never was a thing where I was like, I'm not going back. It was just at the time I didn't have room for it. And I will. Like I said, I talked to. Thing was, it's like Jake, Mr. Champion for the Live Ship Traders.
Yeah,
in that conversation when we talked about nothing, he actually sold me on Greenbone Saga. So that's your fault, Jake. You talked me into Greenbone, and
Jake talked me into going back into Sun Eater. So Jake, he's like, you need to go watch my review, and you need to go watch it right now. He gave me a timestamp and everything. He's like, don't watch this.
Jake's kind of a bully, but we love him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a college kid.
Bookish Drummer says, "What's up, Andrew?
What's up, Jake?
You guys know each other? Maybe?
Yeah. We know each other. It's funny. Have you ever watched Jake's channel?
No, you said this is the big Stephen King fan.
Yeah, he's a constant reader.
Well, I'll have to look it up now because I feel like there's so few of us left, big constant readers.
He does these skits where he's got a Stephen King Funko, And it will be like him and Stephen King having a conversation where Stephen King is just going straight to violence at Jake.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
It's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, I bring back my Palaver series. The thing was, like, I was doing the Palaver series where I just talked to other Stephen King fans, and I was like,
yeah,
I know like
you did that with Sarah.
3 that are as nutty as me. Me and Sarah already did one. Me and Jaime Fuego did one. Me and Brian Lee Durfee did one. Of course, we talked about Stephen King maybe 40% of that episode. I think for love of reading, we were talking about getting together for one. But outside of that, I was like, I don't know a ton of big King fans, like even as big as me. So
I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it.
Hey, better late than never, right?
You just talked me into Insomnia, so like, what was that? Like,
I think
last
Insomnia.
week?
Look, I understand why people didn't like it because, like, when I read it as a teenager, I read it before I read Dark Tower, and I didn't care for it. I just thought it was weird and out there. And now that I've read it after Dark Tower, I'm like, that's why, because it explains so much Dark Tower stuff. And Jaime actually told me before we got on here, I was talking to him, and he was telling me the Black House does the same thing. So,
does it? Okay,
that's encouraging because I have that hot take about Talisman.
I just read 11/22/63 last month.
And did you love it?
Oh my god,
so good, right?
Just beep Richie. Beep.
I tell you the time that's when I was like I had like broken up with Stephen King.
Yeah, I've heard you mention it.
I was so upset with stuff he did in Dark Tower. I was like, forget this. I'm not reading Stephen King because I had to wait for those books, guys. And some of the things he did in Dark Tower 6 like pissed me off so bad that like seriously, I went into Dark Tower 7 like it was a funeral. This is a book I've been waiting for forever.
I DNF'd.
And yeah, so I was like, I'm not reading Stephen King anymore. But the thing is, like, a huge JFK assassination guy. Like, I've read all of the nonfiction. I've read 90% of it is about the JFK assassination. And so when he was going there, I was like, well, damn, I've got to give this a try. And then it was an amazing book. It was amazing book. And I was like, I can't believe at his age, at this stage in his life, he's able to write a book that's not only this long, but should have been longer because it was so good.
It was so good.
It's such an amazing book. I'm glad.
It was actually funny. My father-in-law last month was in Texas, in Houston, on the grassy knoll, and he was like sending us pictures. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm on the grassy knoll," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm reading a book about that right now."
Oh, parents' false sense of security with only one kid. Mother's nature's a way of humbling us all. I have a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old. Well, Caitlin, R.I.P. to your sleep.
You're my hero. And I may be reaching out for help.
Yeah, well, I tell everybody at least like anything over 3 years. I mean, it's just because me and my brother were 6 years apart in age. We just now like talk. We did not have like a good friendship relationship at all. So I always tell people don't go longer than like 3 years. That way they can still be pals. So you're doing it the right way there. But
me and my sister are 4 years, and we got a really strained relationship.
Yeah, I think it really is like the secret number. But also, I can understand from the parents' point of view. It's like, well, I'd like to be a little older. That way I can help.
Yeah, they say you only really want to have one in diapers. Doing 2 is rough.
We talked about having number 3, and I was like, if you could give me 100% guarantee it'd be a girl, we probably would have done it. But I was like, I'm not taking the chance of starting over with diapers
with another boy. Oh yeah.
No, not doing it, guys. So
fair.
Kids are great, guys. They really are.
Kids are they're a treat.
12/22. I don't have a kid, and I can barely work in 2 physical and 1 audio. So your numbers continue to impress people.
I mean, I'm 5 books in on the month already. So with a DNF, but
I've done Sun Eater, I've done Insomnia, and I started Wizard and Glass today. So
let's see. I got to open up Goodreads because my memory is absolutely shite.
Yeah, it's only going to get better with a second kid. Well, while you look, Nancy Wolf says, "Hi, Andrew." 20.
Yeah, that's 20. Yep. I read Witches Abroad, which is the 3rd Witches book in Discworld. I didn't like that one. I read Wizard and Glass, Fool's Gold by John Hollins. I think you would personally like that one if you knew what it was, because basically I think I've got a review for it. Did I do a review for that one?
Dude, I'm literally at the point right now where I'm like, stop recommending stuff.
Fair enough. It's crass. It's funny. It's a D&D campaign. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, yeah. Hey, I'm starting Dritz here. So have you read Dritz before? Oh, you didn't like it?
I DNF'd.
Oh.
I DNF'd Homeland.
Oh wow, the first book. Okay.
Yeah.
Not you feel like you was a below your reading level? That's what a lot of people tell me. Like it's hard to read that old.
I've got a guy in my it's another booktuber. I call him Himvar. His name's Liam from Liam's Lyceum.
Yeah, I know him.
And he's currently on a quest to read all of not Realm of the Elderlings. Forgotten Realms. And he's like 200 in or something like that, or like I don't know. It's something ridiculous. Salvatore is not his favorite because Salvatore refuses to adhere to the rules of D&D when he's building his stories. He just does whatever because he's R.A. Salvatore, according to Himvar. I've only read one of his books and I DNF'd it. My issue with Drizzt was I felt it had a couple. So I was telling you earlier, I was diagnosed with Asperger's as a kid, and certain things get stuck in my craw and I can't let them go.
Sure.
And so if there's a certain inconsistency, I have the same problem with writer Revelations, where they're like certain things just don't logically make sense to me and I get mad at them, even though like most readers can easily just move past it. Which, I mean, that's a me problem, not the book's problem.
Sure.
But I felt there was like a cultural issue within, and I won't expound because you're getting ready to read it. But I felt there was like a cultural, logical issue with the books.
All right, well, we'll touch back on that one.
Yeah.
When I start here, pretty soon. But I was just like amazed at how many people. Like shit, that's like my gateway into fantasy kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
It was fun how much interest there was, and I was just like stunned. There was like nothing about it on Booktube, like at all. But
I was on the flip side. I did Dragonlance instead of Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, and that's the number one comment besides that this was like their gateway is like, hey, if you like that, you got to read Dragonlance.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Look, guys, it took a lot for me to decide to start a series that has 40 books. I'm not looking for another one who has like what 50. Yeah, I'm good.
Dragonlance has, I think last I looked, it was 130 by different authors. So the problem is I did Alan. I actually did this with Alan and a few other people. We started a Dragonlance reread last year. Almost universally, everybody panned it. And it's a lot of us were rereaders, and it was one of those ones.
It's not still going, right?
No. We finished the initial trilogy and we dipped. It was one of those ones where it's like you look at a book through nostalgia, and that's where it should have stayed. It's just one of those ones where, like, for the time it was written, that's what fantasy was. It was D&D schlock during the 80s, and because D&D was popular. And like, if you weren't Moorcock or Glenn Cook or David Gemmell, you weren't really writing fantasy for the public masses, for like mass consumption. So it's more geared towards D&D for like prepubescent teens.
Well, I just
not to say I don't love it.
D&D recently, but I don't know. We'll talk about it when it gets closer. Tall Guy Reed says, I like audiobooks a lot. Can only listen to them when I'm physically busy, but my mind is not. Yeah, I can't imagine like trying to do your taxes and listen to an audiobook at the same time. But I mean, I guess like Brent on my Discord, one of my moderators, he says that like he will listen to audiobooks while he takes a walk, and it's like that sounds great. That sounds like an awesome thing. But yeah,
I love doing it when I'm driving. Tall Guy Reed's actually just uploaded his first video this week.
Welcome to the show, my friend. Yes, yeah. I encourage everyone, man. Just don't worry about your first video. And you know what?
He did a great job. He put me to shame, and I'm so mad about it.
I tell people all the time, don't worry about it because the chances are low that more than like a dozen people are going to watch it, honestly, unless you already have a support system like Scott, Bald Booktuber. Dude, that guy, his first video got 100 views faster than my first video did.
Yeah, when you've already got friends, it's really helpful.
Yeah. So that helps
one of the things I did is I went onto my Facebook, and it was just like, hey guys, I'm starting a YouTube channel. Go subscribe.
Yeah, all my friends on Facebook are like books.
Okay. Yeah, they gave me my first 100 subs. Like 60 of them are pity subs.
I don't think
most of those are gone.
My wife didn't even subscribe to the channel until last year.
Oh.
Oh, so Leslie says, get out of that slump, Andrew. We have the free bashers this month. Is that Lotlands? I've been curious about Lotlands. Mark slowly read actually really thought he said I would like that a lot. That's like Sons of Anarchy, but fantasy. And I was like,
yes, exactly. I mean, look at the cover, dude. I don't know if you've got the cover or the books, but It's very Sons of Anarchy heavy.
I got the first two. Yeah, definitely looks like Jack's. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got. I promise, Leslie, we'll be reading The Free Bastards. I promise.
Someone
right
sent me that book. I think it was Dustin Camps. Sent me that book, and the note inside says, "I think you would like this book because it says fuck about 487 times." I'm like,
it is raunchy and it is sweary.
Nice.
It is very. It's orcs being raunchy is what it is.
I remember back when I was on Twitter, and I was always trying to get. I did have a few book friends on there on Twitter at the time. And I'd always be trying this before I even started a channel. I used to try to encourage people because I was basically like, an advocate for first law, always trying to get people to try that. And it's one guy, all he really mostly had read was just like traditional fantasy, Shannara, Lord of the Rings, things like that. And when he started reading that, he was like, man, I don't know why you keep recommending me these cussy books.
These cussy books.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, John Holland's, the one I tried to sell you on earlier, is also a cussy book.
Tweed jacket and no pants. That's the real secret.
Listen, I can't speak for Philip on that.
I'll tell you guys this. You notice you only see me from the waist up. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, guys. 95% of the videos I'm wearing pajama pants because when I get home from work, boom, pajama pants. That's what.
Boom into PJs. I mean, honestly, it's weird because usually if I dress up a little bit, like if I put pants on, I feel more presentable. So I will do that for a live show. I will put on jeans.
Oh, no. I think Nancy's calling you on your bullshit. I've got 3 books going. Slump. See, you're in a reading slump and you got 3 books going at the same time? Yeah.
Fair. I'm actually, I just kind of put to the side Mountain of Black Glass by Ted Williams.
I just finished Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. That was very good.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think I'll do Other Land next. I think
it's that's what this series is. What it is it is a sci fantasy techno thriller. Is the best. Yeah, it's a very 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 interesting mashup. But if you like weird, like The Dark Tower, I think it's something that it's like taking The Dark Tower and then shoving in Tad Williams' prose.
Okay.
But it's more VR as your like other dimensions. It's virtual reality instead.
Wow, that's not what I expect from the guy who wrote Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn.
I know, right? It's set in like 2100 or something like that. So it's futuristic, but it's like near futuristic.
All right. DK Moon says, I can only read 2 Malazan books in a row before I have to take a few months break. Me too, bro. Me too. And here's the thing is I don't regret doing that. I wish I had stuck to my original schedule of 2 years.
When you sped it up.
I burned myself out. Yeah.
I mean, they're not going anywhere. You've got plenty of time to read them.
Peter says, I love Tolkien. Me too.
I've got 1, 2, 3 copies of The Lord of the Rings. I've got the audiobooks narrated by Andy Serkis. I've got the Alan Lees. Oh geez, I just popped a hip. I've got
got 3 if you count the Kindle one. I've got 2 physical, one Kindle.
And then I've got that nice Lord of the Rings with the red edge.
And I have
in the Elven language
numerous paperback versions that honestly, guys, I just would like give to friends. Definitely got interested after the movie. Like, here you go.
Oh,
there's Fuego again. Shout out to the best booktuber again. I think he's talking to you. Long days and pleasant nights, my guy. That's my guy when it comes to Dark Tower or King stuff. And I hope he gets his channel figured out soon. Because one thing when I did start this channel for sure, I was like, man, if there's like not that many people talking about any series I want to talk about, no one was talking about horror. So that guy right there, even though he's not a booktuber, he says he's not a booktuber because he's a horror entertainment channel with his friend Cecil, the horror show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've reviewed every single Stephen King book. You're a booktuber.
You're a booktuber, dude.
And then something else, you know.
The books that got me into horror was actually Leslie would not stop talking about this series, and like she was like screaming from the rafters, like somebody talk to me about this series. And it's a series of like 5 novellas and then a full-length novel. And it was horror with a quest element in it.
What is this series called?
It's called Nightmareland Chronicles by Daniel Barnett. It's self-pub, but it's like it's very, very surreal. It's very interesting. It's like imagine if all of a sudden the sun went out. Like, what would that do to the human psyche? And a lot of people just go instantly nuts. And then it's full of just interesting themes.
Sounds like Empire of the Vampire. You ever read Jay Kristoff, or is that are you listening to Alan? Let Alan poison your mind against Jay Kristoff.
I've got Empire of the Vampire on my shelf over there, right out of frame.
It's really good.
So I've got the Waterstones edition.
It's like I look at it and say, look, Nevernight, I can see that's probably going to have varying opinions, but I was like, just about everyone has liked Empire of the Vampire.
I just got turned off a little bit on Nevernight earlier today because somebody did if you like this, you might want to read this. And the one that they said, if you like this, is a series that I DNF'd. And the one they were like, you might like this, and it was Nevernight.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
Nevernight's not going to be for everyone, for sure. I definitely, for me, it's like, I don't know. I think I think he might be the first one I found that can just wow me with his like cursing over Joe Abercrombie is Jay Kristoff.
Yeah, I remember you saying it was inventive cursing.
His swearing combinations are like next level, like stuff I couldn't even come up with like in the 6th grade. This guy is nailing it, right? I think that Nikki is still talking about Robin Hobb here, ranking the series within the whole saga. It's second to last for me. She's talking about Rain Wilds.
Okay.
But all the negative booktube talk has me wondering what planet I was reading it on. A bad Hobb is still 4 stars.
Nikki, I am glad you love them. That's all I can say.
What I always say about like Stephen King or Joe Abercrombie is like I say that like yeah, their worst book is better than a lot of other authors' best book in my opinion.
So I mean, it's true. It's just there's a lot of teens going tribal in Rain Wilds, and it's just kind of gross.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Now it's just a big old Robin Hobb discussion here. All right. Hey, I know this one.
That is my good friend Joanna. She's doing next month, right?
Yeah, guys. In case you didn't know, Joanna is going to be my Talk About Nothing next month. So, Joanna, given that this continues to go the way that it is, and neither one of us say anything that's really, really awful, hope you're ready to do it live. It's gonna be fun.
Joanna actually got me this book, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree.
It's a great cover.
It's literally about an orc running a coffee shop. That's all it is. They get the coffee shop up and running. That's it. It's low stakes. It's 300. You can read it in like 2 sittings.
All right. Well,
it's a great palate cleanser. If you need a palate cleanser, you love coffee. It's like ready-made.
I do like coffee quite a bit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've never read Lord of the Rings, and again, I'm pretty new to actual books. Well, Sebastian, there's no better time than right now, because you're going to want to know why everyone is complaining about this Lord of the Rings series on Amazon. You're going to want to know. So yeah, I say go ahead and pick them up. It's never too late.
Amazon they're getting hounded when it comes to their shows.
I think when you you're not gonna get too deep into that, but when you put out an article to basically attack the fans before anybody's ever seen anything,
I know.
I get a little bit of hints of Last Jedi there. It's like, it's gonna be very divisive.
I still haven't finished Last Jedi. I'm a huge extended EU fan, and I couldn't get into the new movies. There's no Yuuzhan Vong in them, man.
You love New Jedi Order like I love New Jedi Order, right?
Yes, but I got through Jason doing his thing, and then
So a lot of my friends noped out when that happened.
Really?
I mean, these are stakes. This is what I've been begging for Star Wars for years. So, yeah.
The old EU, the Yuuzhan Vong as a race with organic technology. It was just so fascinating, and the Jedi couldn't deal with it.
Yeah,
and it was so cool.
I was so bored of the Empire at that point. It was just like, okay, Stormtroopers.
It's like,
yeah. And so you're actually getting because I was getting to the point where I was like, the Jedi are just like so overpowered at this point. But Yuuzhan Vong, they found a way to level the playing field, and that's why I said Salvatore actually kicked that off. So I don't know how many ideas were his, but you know what? He had the balls to kill off a legacy character.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the way he did it.
I cried.
I sat there and looked at the book just like.
I was read it when it was brand new, and I cried. Yeah. So
no, I was just like that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Headcanon gone. He's fine. He's out there somewhere.
An Erudite Adventure. Great name. Only about 18 minutes late. The double speed could catch me up. I hope I don't sound like a chipmunk.
They're a brother-sister duo they're very fun. They're in Alaska.
See, I feel bad, guys. I feel like I should know some of these things, and Andrew knows all of them. He's just showing them up
my Discord is full of content creators
I tried to get on your Discord today and I couldn't find the link. Do you not have the link on your channel, or do you gotta have like a special invite?
No.
Secret society.
I can shoot it to you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I can.
Sure.
It should be in my video description.
I joined Sarah's today, and I was like, I'm just trying to get on some smaller Discords, because not because mine's like mine.
You're at what, like 6K?
About to hit 7, and it's like it's still manageable for me because I just decide to not check every channel. That was very hard for me when I first started it. So I do that as well. Smaller channels. That way, I feel like I can have some one-on-one conversations and stuff, without everybody adding me.
There's a channel that like my mods run, and it's like a weekly thing where every Friday they like put like either poorly drawn covers or bad hints or gifts, and you got to guess the book cover. And like you rack up points somehow, and then at the end of the month, somebody gets a book. And so like I let them just kind of run that. Occasionally, like when somebody will post a hint, I'll be like, "Hey, is it this?" And then like I'm like, "I'm not playing, but did I get it right?"
That's a neat idea. Hey, if my moderators are watching this, look at your game. Jeez, lazy.
Nope, sorry.
Philip says hooray for the brothers Quinn. I agree.
I saw that one.
And gentlemen. And the thing about that is me and Philip actually recorded a first law video with them right before the tragedy.
Yeah.
So I think I think that one's actually going to just get lost to the to the whatever. Won't ever see that, but I hope I do get to talk to those gentlemen again soon.
Was it on their channel?
It was going to be a series for First Law, as we were doing one on theirs, and we were doing one on Philip, and then we were going to do one on mine. And then like obviously, they went radio silent for a week, and that's when Philip and I both found out about the tragedy before it was like public news, and it was just like just gutted for those guys. So
absolutely. The video they released today was from August of 2021, so they do still have their footage.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
So it may see the light of day.
Maybe they will.
And they were talking about in today's video about Abercrombie.
Okay. All right.
They were saying we just had a month of Abercrombie, so it could see the light of day.
Joanna says, I still say Malazan wrong. You know what? I'm going to continue to say it wrong. And you know what? I have it from good authority from Mr. Erickson himself. He don't care. As long as you're reading the book, you can say it however you want. He's like, you can call it Mallowing Long. I don't even give a damn.
Mallowing Long.
He didn't say that. Yeah, I didn't quote
Mallowing. I love Mallowing Long, Book of the Fallen. Let's see how many people
Paul said, it's okay, Philip. I'm not wearing any pants right now. So, hey.
Oh.
All right. I got it.
You, Paul.
It's all on. See, I have Andrew on my channel, and people start losing control. See, this is how it goes. All right.
And this is me being tame. I'm actually behaving myself.
Well, we got a long ways to go here. Monica says, Mike, you made me want to check out Thinner. That's great because it's like in my videos, like I have the hot take about the Talisman, which everybody loves, and I have the hotter take about liking Thinner, which everybody seems to hate. So I hope more people will give it another try. Maybe I don't know why people hate it so much. I should have known Fuego would jump on me because I said that Roadwork was not a good Stephen King book. But you know what?
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
You don't like Drawing of the Three, and that's like maybe my favorite Dark Tower book. So even people that we are very much like-minded about. We have like the
Fuego's
glitches
wrong
in the Matrix. Where we're like, okay, that's why we're not exactly the same person. Yeah.
Drawing of the Three was amazing, especially the way it starts out. You depower.
Yeah, depower your main character.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
awesome.
Okay, we got like this weird ass doors on a beach, and we're like going inside people's minds and shit. So that's why every time anybody's like, I don't know how I felt about Gunslinger. I'm like, read book 2. And if you still aren't feeling
it's the giant prologue.
The thing about Dark Tower is like, Otherland is the first time I've ever heard anything kind of compared to Dark Tower. Like, you can't name another. All these fantasy series that we know and love, we can look and be like, okay, yeah, you can see the influence here, you can see the influence there. This kind of reminds me of that. Every Dark Tower, I'm like, I don't think anything's like this. Like my fever dreams have not been that messed up and that weird and that unique. So that's why it's always been special to me.
Wizard and Glass was a fever dream for me.
I don't want to say a divisive book because it seems like more people love it than they don't. But it does seem to be the point where everyone either this is one of my favorite fantasy series ever, or yeah, I felt like it kind of fell off at that point. So
it was funny because last week I was ranting about it to my friends. I was just like, and they were like, "Oh, but I loved it." And I was like, "Well, what did you think about this, this, and this, and this?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, now that you mention it, I kind of remember that, but I wasn't even paying attention to the weirdness."
see, so I get this big thing about, oh, Mike hates the ending of Dark Tower. I don't hate the ending of Dark Tower. I hate decisions that he made in book 6 and 7. The ending's whatever. The ending's fine. There's some things I think are brilliant. There's some things I'm like, I'm curious to see how I feel about it now. After this much time and going back and rereading it, will I feel differently about it this time? So that's what I'm most excited about.
Fair enough. I mean, I put it down after selling Susanna back in like 2008.
Well, yeah, things that happen in that book are just like, you want to talk about flipping tables. Yeah, I was so mad because at that time it was still, that series could do no wrong. Really, like Mozakala, I'm like, I liked it. Wasn't as good as the last one, but I was still very excited about it. We're finally good. This is it. It's finally coming. And he's writing them all. We don't have to wait, 6, 7, 8 years between books. He's writing all 3 of them in a row because he got spooked by getting hit by a car and thinks he's going to die. So he's just going to write them all real fast. And then I was like, why did we do this?
Yeah, there was like what 19 or 16 or 19 years between books 3 and 4.
It was the thing was, when book 4 was coming out, right before it was coming out, because I was in his book club at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at the point where my mom out of nowhere was like, "Oh, I don't care if you read Stephen King. That's fine. I'm just glad that you're reading." And I'm like, "Got the dementia, Mom? You got the dementia? Is that what's going on right now?"
Script on you.
But so I was in this book club, and that was coming out, and that was like the one series I hadn't read yet. So I went and got like the first 3 paperbacks. Man, I like blew through them in like a couple of days. Like, this is amazing. So then I read Wizard and Glass, and then I had to wait after that. So I didn't have to wait after that. Before that. So that's good. But still, it was different than people now who were binging it for the first time. And I don't know why you have problems with that, because you didn't wait and speculate and theorize. It's like, say Winds of Winter does come out and someone just read it or they've only watched the series. They aren't going to know that pain that I've been waiting. I've gotten one book in like 20 years from this guy.
So the thing with Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire is that when I tried to read, my uncle had just passed when I first tried to read it, and I was not in the right headspace for that. And so, like, it was my favorite uncle. And so I put it down. I DNF'd it, and I haven't revisited it since. And so I just got a new copy of the first book. I actually got it's like a 2011 cloth-bound UK hardcover that's like pre-release of the comic. So it's got some of the concept art for the comic and like the first chapter of the comic in the back of the book. So I'm going to be diving in to A Song of Ice and Fire here soon.
I have 3 copies of A Game of Thrones. I have my original hardcover that I've had forever.
Do you have the folio?
Yes, guys, this is my hipster moment, guys. I did read this series long before HBO even had the rights to it. So the fact that it became like a cultural phenomenon was me finally being like, see, been telling you guys for years to read this. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I have that original version. I have the Folio Society that someone sent me, and someone also sent me the illustrated edition. And I have
the folio is gorgeous.
Yeah, that folio is pretty sick. But now I'm like, damn it! Now I got to get the other one. And it'll just get mad that we don't have book 6 and 7 again. It's
this is the only folio I've got right here is Dune.
Well, that's a pretty good one. Yeah,
I do have a copy of Magician by Raymond E. Feist that is leather bound, though.
It's very, very fancy. See, that's another series that I'm interested. Basically it was going to be that or Drizzt. One of those two was going to be the Drizzt. I'm going to say it different every time, guys.
Drizzt.
Yeah, and that's why I took that.
Duerden. Duerden.
Yeah. So I actually thought that was the Mistborn one that Sanderson put out.
No,
Sanderson, or you got the hot take like Sarah does?
What's Sarah's hot take before we get into my Sanderson opinion?
Mistborn is average at best, and she doesn't think that Sanderson's as good as everybody else. At least that's what she said on my Talk About Nothing. Got a lot of thumbs down because of it.
My Sanderson opinion is that Sanderson is very, very good at what he does. The man is a machine. I enjoy his stories. They don't always resonate with me. And I had a lot of problems with Rhythm of War. And I mean, I still to this day argue with people about Rhythm of War. Warbreaker was one that I didn't enjoy while I was reading it, but it's the one I still think about.
Oh, I like Warbreaker, but man, I did not like Rhythm of War.
Yeah, it just well, hey, so Rhythm of War had this really engaging prologue, and like it promised like epic moments and some like hard hitting themes, and then
And
just
instead, you got
didn't
science
deliver.
class.
Yeah, and then you got a science class, and yeah, and then you got some like interludes that like I was like, no, give me Navani in my interludes or something like that, and no, you get
I like the Teravangian ones; those are pretty. And Seth, that was all cool. Really, I just the God, I can't remember the names. The Parchment. I can't. Whatever their names are. I can't even think of their names right now. Raboniel and whoever the flashback character was in Rhythm of War. I just could not get interested at all. I'm still excited for book 5, but I really think that's going to be like the halfway point. It's probably going to be my tap out point.
I'll probably keep going. But like, I mean, he's going to be taking a massive break between.
Yeah, you're talking about taking like 5-year break between book 5 and 6, and then 3 years. Guys, I don't want to be waiting until I'm like 80 for this series to be done. So yeah, I probably will stay with that. But me with Sanderson, I think he's great. I think he's an amazing writer. I just don't think that everything he does is the greatest, like some people do, and that that gets me in trouble.
No, so. I do share that opinion. I do think that he is a top tier author, but I mean, he's not the end all be all for me personally, and that's okay because we've all got different tastes.
Sure.
Like when it comes to his Mistborn books, I love Era 1. Era 2
Same. I think Era 1's great. I mean, a lot of that might be nostalgia, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go back and revisit it. But Era
I read
2,
it in 2017.
I've read 3 of the Era 2 books. I'm not even going to read the last one. No interest.
I'm enough of a completionist to give it a try.
I think once with Lightbringer, I was able to walk away from that.
I walked away from
one
it
book
after
away
the
from the
first
end
book.
to where I said, you know what? I'm fine with it. I mean, why read stuff that I'm not having a good time with? There's so much stuff I want to read.
Speaking of, did you walk away from Black Company?
I never started it.
Oh, you never started it. Okay.
Everybody told me in my Malazan videos the stuff that I was complaining about was like all that Black Company was. I was like, well, I'm never going to say never, but you guys definitely just moved it down.
I'm looking at the chat. One of my patrons is coming at me.
I love Jaime. It's always so positive. Lawnmower Man is actually not bad. Definitely its own turn of the wheel, and I dare say better than the short story. I love your positivity, Fuego. It's so good.
But yeah, no, it's Era 2. Like, I really liked the first Era 2 book. I thought it was fun. I thought that dynamic between Wax and Wayne was really interesting. And then it just got ruined as it went on. Like,
with me, Wax was probably the most milquetoast, boring main character I've ever read. Like, reading his chapters was like watching paint dry for me. And I thought Wayne was the good foil that made it funny, and then he just made Wayne depressed for 2 books. And I was like, all right, let's just forget it.
Yeah, their relationship kind of worked with him being milquetoast and like Wayne just being like,
funny.
oh no, it was an even trade. Like, like here's some wax and lint from my pocket. I'm gonna take this gold chain.
But yeah, a lot of people do love it and they're excited about it. It's great. I'm glad. Everybody's got a favorite author. What I don't ever agree with is you don't got to tear down something to build something else up. And when I say I didn't like a Brandon Sanderson book, like, oh, you like that shitty Joe Abercrombie book. I'm like, these have nothing to do with each other. Like, at all.
Completely unrelated.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. Book Meridian asks, hey, Mike and Andrew, what is the biggest piece of advice you guys would have to someone just starting out in these booktube streets? Thanks for the content, guys. You want to go first or me?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. My main thing is just dive in, get your hands dirty, make some mistakes, make some friends, join Discords, chat with people. I keep talking about Leslie, but seriously, like I have bounced so many ideas off of Leslie that like she's really helped evolve my channel. And she's a constant font of just information. So when you find somebody you can vibe with and you can ask questions like, hey, my lighting kind of sucks. Do you have any tips? Hey, my camera kind of sucks. Is there a way I can make that better? Or, when I met Nico, who pushed me to start my channel, I literally commented on a video. I was like, hey, you're kind of out of frame and to the left. If you move back in front of your bookshelves, you'll look a little bit more proportioned. And off of that, like we started a discourse, and then we became best friends. He just came to town from Iowa to see me like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
And so you can make real friendships in Discord, and also really find people who will build you up. And then from there, just find your style, find your voice. For me, it was, I'm known for my high energy, and I'm not always like that. Like, nobody can sustain that. Usually I will
in the world.
Yeah, I will save that up. And then when I flip on the camera, I just unleash the beast. And it was, for me, is I was doing a book tag, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be weird. I'm just going to act weird and hyper. I'm going to let it go. That video took off. For me, that video took off. And from then on, that was my shtick.
I think for me, kind of following off what he said, yeah, first get involved in the community. I think getting involved in a community like a Discord or something like that. Don't be scared to, not saying go there and like spam your stuff, because nobody likes that, but just bounce ideas off of people and things like that. Listen for feedback. Don't get upset by criticism. I just kind of mentioned that today, is like most people that are trying to help you. They're definitely not trying to tear you down or anything like that. And I know it's hard, because I used to suffer from depression really, really bad. And I think about if I tried to do this back then, I probably would have quit by some of the things that I got told early on, but it actually helped me a lot. But in the end, just be yourself. I always tell people, don't go out there and try to copy someone else's channel. Just go out there and be yourself. Come up with your own ideas. Not necessarily come up with your own ideas. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with taking influence from other people, stuff like that, but don't be like, hey, I like Daniel Green's channel. I'm going to try to be exactly like Daniel Green. That's probably not going to end well for you, because everyone's just going to be like, I've already got Daniel Green. I don't need something else. So be yourself. Try new things. Don't be scared to take risks, and don't worry about those early videos. Probably gonna be bad. And the thing is unless you've got like a really big friend community, you're probably not gonna get very many people watching it anyways. So and don't worry about if people aren't watching it. It'll come. It'll come. Kind of be consistent, and just keep trying. Because I think back to when I first started the channel, I was like, I got 300 views. That was a big success. Now if a video gets like less than 3,000, like, what am I doing wrong?
You can't let those analytics get you.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like I work in numbers, guys. So it's hard for me, not to do that, but don't let that stuff get you down. And, just keep grinding, I guess they would say. That's what I say. But be yourself is a good one, and get involved in the community. That definitely helps. Jaden says, I'm deep into the Star Wars EU and I'm loving it, especially New Jedi Order. It's my favorite Star Wars story at this point. Gonna start reading Unifying Force soon. I cried like a baby in that book, guys. That to me felt like the real end of Star Wars for me, because even after that, it felt like the last time you're ever going to have, your big main Star Wars legacy characters together. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a great, great culmination, even if Andrew didn't finish it.
Ouch.
Someday, maybe. Was it you that recently made like the series that you haven't finished yet? I was like, dude, that video would be like 5 hours long if I did it.
I did one, I think a couple months ago. Yeah. I didn't include series on that I haven't touched in a few years. Like, if it was more than 2 years, I didn't consider that in progress. I don't know. Technically, I am still in progress on Star Wars.
You see, and then there are series that I didn't exactly quit. I just have like The Witcher. I didn't quit The Witcher. Just I did picked it up in a while. It's never the thing that I'm like, I will tell you flat out, no, I'm not, like Poppy War. No, I'm not going to continue. Lightbringer, Demon Cycle. I'm not going to continue. I'm done. So some things it's numbers game. Plus, you do a channel, guys. Everyone throws you these awesome recommendations, and everybody accuses me. Oh, my TBR and my bookshelves have gotten so much bigger. My bank account's taking damage because of you. Look at all the stuff I get because of you guys' recommendations. I would have never picked up Dritz if it weren't for you guys. So
I threw that at you when I was reading The Faithful and the Fallen back in the day. I was just like, hey, I've spent $700 in like the last.
John Gwynn and Rockio are probably the two that I've gotten people to try the most. A lot of people have tried Abercrombie because of me, but they'd at least heard of Abercrombie, or they had already had the trilogy and they hadn't really started it yet. But I think with those two, it seemed like after I started talking about John Gwynn, all of a sudden he was like everywhere. So I definitely don't take credit for these things, but just say that I was covering them. I was covering them before they were cool.
I think I started John Gwynn because you Abercrombie. Abercrombie,
Abercrombie.
because of you. I think, yeah, Sun Eater was you, and I think Red Rising as well.
You like Red Rising?
I like the first trilogy. I do not like Iron Gold or Dark Age.
Wow, dang, okay.
Lysander, I do not like Lysander.
Well, I mean, I to me, I think if if you do hate those characters that they want you to hate, I think that they're doing something right. But I mean, if it's to a point where it's just like you're not enjoying the book because of it.
So for me, and I know you love Dark Age, it felt like it was trying too hard to be dark. Like,
so it wasn't a clever name, yeah.
Yeah, like at certain times you could just feel like I felt like it was like shoving my face in it. Like there's that scene where like I can't talk about it because we're live.
I know what you're talking about though. The tree, yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, well, and there's also the one with the salt and
Worthy. And
yeah. There's the reversing of gravity issue. It was very, very interesting. Series. I finished it, but I'm not sure where I stand on the series right now. I love those first 3 books.
See, to me, I was like, this is the most grimdark thing I've read since First Law. I love it, but I do kind of understand that feeling. Like that's how I felt when I was reading Broken Empire by Mark Lawrence. It was like, this is like so dark, I'm not enjoying it.
Blackstone Heart by Michael R. Fletcher.
Yeah, I know. Besides Prince and Nothing, I think that's what Mark has recommended to me the most is Fletcher for sure. Have you started them yet?
I have not. I've got.
Everybody's just telling me, oh, they're very philosophical, and I'm like, I don't want that right now.
I don't have the brain capacity for philosophical right now. One of my moderators, he is a Baker stan. Like he stands R. Scott Baker.
Who is the biggest babe of fantasy sci-fi? In other words, who is your favorite fantasy science fiction crush? Me is Valka from Sun Eater. This is easy for me. It's Victra from Red Rising.
Oh God. That's a rough one. Mainly because you've asked me a question and I've frozen. I'm gonna say just because. Well, no, because I don't want to copy him. Because that sounds lazy. I don't know. Oh, you know what? You know what? I do. I'm just gonna hold up Rowan and let you make an assumption.
Coraline?
Yeah, Coraline.
Coraline? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a redhead, so I'm there. All
right. My first girlfriend was a redhead, so.
Yeah. I always said I'd marry the first redhead who didn't try to kill me. You know what?
You did?
Remains to be seen, but I think I did it. You know, it could go either way.
Yeah. You still got at least a good 40 years.
Madison wants you to show us that copy of It you were talking about.
It is upstairs. I will DM you, Madison, later.
She's gonna slide in them DMs, Mads. What's up? Connor says, just bought Sun Eater one day when I picked up Hunger of the Gods. Also grabbed Salem's Lot, first King books. Great one to start with.
I've got this one. This one I can just kind of reach over and grab because I'm reading Salem's Lot in a couple months, and I've got that illustrated UK double day.
Yeah, someone was just talking about it. Here it is. Tall guy says, I'm nervous for the Salem's Lot adaptation coming out this year or next year. It's my favorite Cy King book, and the original movie is so classic. My thing with that is with Stephen King adaptations, guys, hopefully
just go in with no expectations.
Because after It came out, and it was a big success, and they were like, whoa, we can't believe people like this. I'm like, whoa, who knew? If you adapt Stephen King stories like they are in the fucking book instead of trying to do your own thing, who knew that these things would be popular? So I really believe this was going to be like the next King Renaissance, and people were going to start really faithfully adapting his stuff. And then we got that Pet Sematary movie, which was one of the worst adaptations I've ever seen in my life. Like I almost screamed out loud in the theater. Have you ever read this fucking book? I mean, I was that mad while I watched it. So yeah, I'm back to expecting everything to suck.
Fair enough. I heard The Stand was also. Oh, hey, Alan's here in the chat.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I'm about like an hour behind on the chat.
It's fine. On big chats, it's sometimes hard to catch up.
You can take this one.
Have any similar? Yes.
Similar to Wheel of Time and tone.
Right here, We have got Blood of the Spear. This is a self-pub by Mark Timoney. It's the Eye of Eternity, book 1. And he is a huge Malazan and Wheel of Time fan. So when I did my book review for this, I said, imagine if Steven Erikson rewrote The Eye of the World. So that is my recommendation for that one.
Right.
Easy money.
Scott says Sun Eater's the best, and everyone should drop everything and read it or reread it.
I was actually telling Mike before we went live, I think I'm going to wait for book 5 because what I did for Howling Dark and Demon in White is I just marathoned them, and I had such a good time doing it that I want that feeling again. And
it's
so
not a bad plan.
I think I'm going to wait.
That, even though he did split the book, it doesn't feel like a book that's only half the story. Like when you read Peace Talks and Dresden Files,
I was just about to say it.
I felt like that was a split, book, but this one didn't really feel like a split to me. It had
it felt like he forced it. It felt like he forced certain elements in that book in order to split it.
Since you are the wizard expert, which wizard would you rather have watching your back, Baez or Harry Dresden? I mean, it's easy for me because Baez is most likely going to stab you.
Yeah, that's Harry Dresden. Baez, you can't trust Baez. You can't trust Baez as far as you can throw his bald head.
Yeah, that's what Leslie said. Fuego again. I see this. I actually, Fuego, you're gonna make me like excited here that your channel isn't up because you're actually like hanging out in here with me now. I feel like you never hang out in here. I know Mike isn't big into audio, while not always awesome. It helps you to cruise through the storytelling since you can listen anywhere, driving, jogging, etc. I mean, I wish I could do it. I mean, I do. I really do wish that I could do it because, like I said, it would solve a lot of problems. I don't have time to read that right now.
One of the audiobooks you should not listen to in public is Stephen King's It. Because the narrator's an actual actor, and so like he goes for it.
Yeah, I think it's the guy from Wings, ain't it?
I think so.
Stephen Weber or something like that. Yeah, Stephen Weber. Something. I can't think of his name.
Weber.
Yeah. I hear all these things from the comments from the.
It's a really good audio experience, and especially for a story. If you already know the story, I think that can help with audio.
Yeah, that's what DK here is saying. I like audiobooks for rereads. Not a big deal if you miss some. Everyone carries on about Stephen Pacey reading First Law. I feel like I know that story inside out now. Maybe I should give that a try just to hear it because
I'm going to tell you what, Stephen Pacey again goes for it, especially during the sex scenes in First Law. He makes it so awkward because they are awkward sex scenes. But like, I mean, there were times where I was just like, do I need a shower?
I say that when I was reading some of the more explicit chapters in Nevernight, reading it, I was like at my desk at work, and I was kind of like looking around, like I was looking at a Playboy or something, because it was like so graphic, and I'm like, I mean, they don't know what you're reading right now, but I'm still like, geez, should I be reading this?
Yeah, should I be reading this in public?
Brent, Name of the Wind, and Liza Locklamore, and Mike and Andrew are hurting me. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. It comes up pretty good.
I'll go back to Liza Locklamore, but Name of the Wind is dead to me. For now. I'll never say never.
Andrew and Alan express energy in different ways. Yeah, yours is like you had a lot of coffee, and Alan's is like, hey, I'm a Muppet. That's Alan.
1 cup a day. I swear I am a 1 cup a day coffee. It's 2 if it's a bad day. Alan just has a magnetic energy. Yeah. Like he just pulls you in.
Yeah, it makes me tired just watching them. Alan and Andrew, a double A Energizer bunnies.
Like I said, so I don't know if you've heard of Long Price Quartet, but Philip, Alan, and I are doing live shows for that, along with some other great creators. And so Philip gets to see both of us in a live show together, and it's fun.
Who will finish Game of Thrones? No one.
Nobody.
No one. I don't think that anyone will pick it up. I don't think. I've talked to a couple authors on the record and off the record and asked them about, like, if this literally happened, would you? And they all said, absolutely not. I would not do it. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I really think that George is the type who will say, I don't want anyone to finish this. And he'll, like, destroy his notes if he has notes.
Terry Pratchett. Have you heard this Terry Pratchett story? So when Terry Pratchett died, I think back in, I'm going to get the year wrong. So I'm not going to say the year because I don't want to get attacked. But basically, his remaining notes were on an external hard drive, and in his will, it was like, I want you to destroy these. So they ran over it with the steamroller.
Yeah, I can definitely see George doing that. He doesn't have a little shit kid out there like Brian Herbert who's like, yeah, I have my dad's notes. Well, can we see these notes? Oh no, it's personal. And he wrote 27 books since then.
I started looking into that, and I'm like, did we really need this part of the story filled in? Like, can we have a little bit of mystery? Like, I don't need to know about Paul Atreides when he was in diapers.
Someone asked Rockio the other night when we were talking over on iWizard's channel if he would finish A Song of Ice and Fire. And I was like, I don't want him to finish A Song of Ice and Fire. I want him to go back and rewrite Dune 7 for us, because just pretend that shit, just decanon everything that Brian Herbert has written. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts.
I don't know. I heard, who was telling me about that? I think it might have been, it was, I forgot his name. This is the problem when you know too many people. But he was like telling me, yes, I have read The Wheel of Time. I don't know if it's a joke or not. I've got Dragon Reborn here. I've got a wheel here. I've got it on the wall as well. And then I've got all my hardcovers right up top. So yes, I love The Wheel of Time.
Did you watch the TV show?
Mike, I am glad that you enjoyed that experience.
No. You haven't caught up, have you? Okay. All right. Yeah.
I know you didn't like the final episode.
We were like, okay, it's better than because I think me and Madison expected shit. We expected full on like Shannara on MTV. And I don't think, as bad as I think things were, I still don't think it was that level. I know people like to go to that. Still don't think it was on that level, guys. That was bad TV. Anyway, we were positive about it. We thought episode 4 was really good. It got worse every week after that. We tried to stay positive because, guys, in case you missed the channel, we do try to stay positive.
Yeah,
we're honest but positive. But yeah, by the end, I mean, even in hindsight, we were looking at it because we did that review with the guys from Heroes of the Horn, right. And we were talking about after we looked back on episode 8, we're like, it was that bad. We're like, it was like glass breaking moment. We're like, was it always this bad?
Yeah. So the main issue is on the note of positivity. I remember I opened up a thread in my Discord, and like literally all of us were sitting there watching it and like commenting in real time. And a lot of us had nothing good to say. And I was getting angry. I was getting mad. And then I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. And so I removed myself from the conversation entirely after about the 3rd episode. And I was like, my mama just popped into my head. And she was like, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, say nothing. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to crap on anybody's parade. If you like this show, I'm happy for you.
Right.
It's just, it is, as a consumer, I can choose not to consume that media, and it's not hurting me. My books are right there. They're not going anywhere. Mm. And so I removed myself from the conversation. I remember I did a live show with my buddy Drew and a few others. And it was on the 1st episode. And literally with the changes that were made, I was like, this changes stuff in book 7, book 6, book 8. This is removed. This can't happen now. And so like they're making more work for themselves in order to tell even a similar story. And so at that point, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to get mad about it, I'm just going to remove myself from the conversation and just love the books.
I'm not excited for season 2 at all. I think the thing was, like, I kept on saying, like, you got to make changes. It's fine, but stay consistent. And they got to a point where I was like, they're breaking their own rules that they've established now. So yeah.
And I've seen snippets of stuff that happened in the final episode, and I'm like, that just doesn't make sense.
It's terrible, man. That's all I'll say about it. I love the DNF redemption idea, Mike. You should totally do it and credit Andrew.
Go ahead, do it. All right. Absolutely.
I don't DNF a lot of books. I just decided
I DNF on Hair
DNF
Trigger.
in some series, but I don't DNF a lot of books. Really.
So because, you know, as booktubers, our TBRs can get wildly massive. And a lot of the times if I see a bunch of series that like I'm in progress of and I have zero drive to go back to it, I'll DNF on a Hair Trigger. I'm like, you know what? If it's not filling me with any excitement at all, it doesn't deserve to be on my shelf anymore. That's my view. And so, I mean, I've got a stack of books right here. Some I've already read, but like Tagana by Gag Avril K. I DNF'd 30 pages in.
30 pages. Wow.
30 pages.
Wow. Right.
Like,
Joanna says she's not comfortable with ranting. Me neither. I think I have 2 videos on the channel where I've ranted. And one with the Wheel of Time thing was just people attacking me saying that my fandom for Wheel of Time didn't matter because I hadn't been a fan for like 87 years like they had.
it
And
doesn't
I was
matter.
like, so are we doing like years of service to declare fandom now? That one. And I think when I don't even remember who it was, when I was still on Twitter, and there was some author who basically said that like YouTubers shouldn't be allowed to review books or something if they're going to be negative or something. I was just like,
we have an obligation to be honest, because otherwise then we're just selling you schlock, and it's like nothing we say can be taken at face value because we're being dishonest all the time. That doesn't make sense. And if you read a book and you like it, you can be a fan of it on the spot.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, I know a lot of people like to do rant videos because they get clicks and things like that. That's just not my style.
That's not my shtick.
And like I said, I like to stay positive, so there's not very much really, but I mean, it really takes a lot to set me off, honestly, with things like that. So because I'm real big about, it's great to disagree. It's fine. Let's talk about it. It's kind of what we're here for. But, to play devil's advocate, Terry here, sometimes a negative review will entice me to pick up a book or movie so that I can make my own judgment. That's the way it should be. That's the way I think that it should be. But it makes me think of this one guy in the server, like everyone was just trashing Lightbringer. And this is a guy that wasn't really that big of a fantasy fan. He's like, oh, well, I got to read this now. I'm like, you're not going to like it. So, yeah.
On the flip side, I have found a reviewer, and I'm not going to name names or anything, that like whenever they review and trash and rant on a book, I know I'm going to like that book because our tastes are the exact opposite.
Mm.
And so I literally will watch that person's rant reviews because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to like that book anyway. So that's how I go to them for reviews and recommendations.
Yes, Claire, I'm reading the chat. I'm just like an hour behind.
It's a lot of work keeping up with the chat.
My thing is that when you critique a book, you are focusing on the work itself and not the author. The author can always create more works. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And like you said, okay, someone like Robin Hobb, if I say I don't like a book, I don't feel like that's going to torpedo her career. If some independent published author asks me to review their book and I don't like it, I'm not going to review it because I don't want to feel like I'm, like I said, stealing money, out of their pocket. That's what I would feel like I was doing. So that's why I try to stay away from negative reviews so much.
So recently, I think it might have been because of ICFA, which you should know from Philip Chase, or because he met Alan and Joanna and Jimmy and all them down in Florida. But Janie Wirtz was there. And she came on, I think, Steve's channel from Steve Talks About Books and stuff. Hmm. And she was talking about like the proper way to give a critique is to ask that author, is this what you intended? And then based on that feedback, you can then give proper feedback. And this is something you can really do well with independent authors because you can be like, hey, is this what you intended? If not, like maybe you can like bullet point out some things that either A, didn't work for you, or B, could be achieved through a different means. So it's just independent authors. I do a lot of indie stuff on my channel. I read about 3 or 4 indie books per month. As just rule of thumb.
All right, cool. So now from now on, when they send me emails, I'll just forward them to you.
I mean, sure.
I'm not lying. I get at least a dozen per day, and I'm like, I don't have the time for it. I'm sorry.
It's funny. People reach out to me via Discord or Twitter or Instagram. I get DMs. I don't get emails.
Oh, I think it's, I'm like, do I have my email public somewhere? I was like, I don't know where it's coming from. I have no idea how to read it.
It might be attached to your YouTube channel, and you're like about. Maybe
I've looked. I don't know. It's probably right there in front of my face. I mean, who am I to look for detail?
My wife does that all the time.
You should definitely try reading Live Ship and Greenbone Saga. I think you would like them. While starting Greenbone over the summer when we start Codex Alera, we're doing 2 Codex Aleras a month. I'm going to put a Greenbone book in between each one of those to kind of separate that. And as far as Live Ship, I won't skip it, but I don't know when I'm going to be reading it. So there's that.
Are you excited for Codex Alera?
Yeah. The thing is like I know that a lot of people were like, "Oh, don't go into." I wouldn't go into it expecting Dresden Files. I don't know why everybody says that to me.
No,
it's like I'm going to be reading Shattered Sea by Joe Abercrombie. I'm not going to go into it expecting First Law. I mean, I can separate the series that authors are doing. I mean, I grew up reading Stephen King and Michael Crichton, that are reading, doing standalones. Obviously I can separate, their different stories just fine. So,
You
I think
interviewed
with
Butcher,
Codex
right?
Alera, I've heard a lot of the feedback and things like that. And I still argue that a lot of, and this is where I get in trouble with the audiobookers, is that I feel like a lot of people that love Dresden Files don't like Codex Alera just because James Marshall doesn't read the audiobooks.
So it's funny. I've only listened to hold on, I gotta get my brain on track. When it comes to Dresden, I physically read those books a lot like Jake Bishop. For years, those were my comfort books.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gone back to them like 4 or 5 times each. I only listened to the audiobooks when it came to Peace Talks and Battlegrounds, and I did not enjoy the experience. Mainly because I didn't start with them as an audio experience. I read them, but I did not read those 2, and instead I did audio, and it changed the experience for me. Mm-hmm. And also, like, I couldn't tell it was Marsters, mainly because he wasn't doing a British accent.
Right. I understand why so many people love King, but after 3 of his books, I don't think it's for me. Salem's Lot, and 11/20. Well, that's 3 of his best, Jaden. So if you didn't like those, he definitely might not be the author for you.
Yeah, he's not going to vibe with everybody. No author is for everyone.
Not at all. Everybody's talking about Greenbone. It's going to happen. I'm glad people are excited about it.
It's a very popular series. I've got my hardcovers. I am just waiting for the right time to dive into it.
Hey,
because
this summer, going to be reading all 3 of them. So.
Yeah, no, I've heard. I
can't wait for you to read 44 pages and then DNF and watch everybody flip tables about it.
On Jade City?
Yeah.
So I've done it.
Oh, you've already done it? Okay.
Yeah. So when I first discovered Booktube, Jade City was still very much a raging thing. And I tried it. And at this point, I should preface, I was very burnt out on urban fantasy. And so because it was in an urban setting, like, it just wasn't catching my interest. And so I put it down and walked away. And I walked away very quickly. Now I have since gone back and rebought the hardcovers to reread them and give them a fair shot. But at that time, I was not in the mood for an urban fantasy.
See, I didn't know it was urban fantasy. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like a Roaring 20s gangster Yakuza novel type of deal.
Wow. All right.
It's Asian inspired gangster mobster.
Jake seems to claim it's going to be everything that I love. So Jake knows me pretty well, so we will find out.
Well, I think you would love this more.
Hard Magic.
Hard Magic. Hard Magic is written by Larry Correia, who wrote Monster Hunter International.
No, I'm going to be doing his Son of the Black Sword, I think that's called. Yeah, because Madison and Brent on my Discord cannot say enough great things about it. I always thought I'd start with Monster Hunter with him.
Monster Hunter is fun.
But I think I'm going to do those.
It's very machismo, very macho. If you're a gun nut, you're going to love the Monster
I am
Hunter
in Texas. So
yeah, I mean, you are in Texas. So there's a lot to love about Monster Hunter International. It gets a little long in the tooth around book 7.
Terry says, I still think you need to read the entire Rift War cycle. It's funny. When Terry first joined my patrons, I thought that Rift War was just a trilogy. I had no idea it was an ongoing series. And he's like, yeah, I'm on like, let me do his Australian accent here. Yeah, I'm on book.
Oh, is that Terry? I know Terry. If it's the Terry that I think, Terry's in my Discord as well.
Yeah, probably.
Australian Terry. That kind of cinched it for me.
No one else in Australia is named Terry. Just this Terry.
He
is Australia's Terry.
Yeah, he's Australia's Terry, and we love him for it.
Some things are better in your memory. I agree, Paul, because there are some, when it comes to TV shows, like I've told the story before where, like, when I was a kid, I thought A-Team was the coolest show in the world. And when it was coming out on DVD, I was excited as hell. I ordered some pizzas and bought the first 2 seasons when they came out on DVD. I was going to watch them all. Watch the first episode. I was like, that wasn't that good. But you know what? A lot of times, pilots on TV shows, they're still trying to find a footing. I was about halfway through the second episode. I was like, oh my God. It really was just because I was a kid, huh? It's terrible.
What holds up is MASH. MASH holds up really well, but that wasn't a kid's show.
I never watched MASH.
Oh!
It's like my one great show I've never watched. I love
so
Lucy.
good.
I've only watched a few I Love Lucy episodes. I don't know. It's always like that boring thing my parents were watching, and I just And I know. Like one of my best friends, he's MASH is the best show ever. You just can't say anything about it. I'm like, sure it
I
is.
loved it.
At this point, it's like I'm not starting a show that has like 300 episodes at this point in life. Sorry, I'm just not.
That's true. Thundercats did not age well.
Oh, I don't think any of those. Like I tried, showing my kid a lot of those cartoons I used to watch. Like I'm alive, man. I'm big He-Man guy, and it's terrible to go back to.
Oh yeah, no, don't.
That stuff's just great in your memory. Leave it there.
Yeah,
leave it there. I know everybody will be like, "Oh, not for me," because I had Avatar. Well, good for you. I grew up in the Hanna-Barbera age. Okay, we didn't have cool stuff like that. So.
I still love me some Scooby-Doo.
It's pretty rough, but I have fun. I think with me, as a kid, Scooby-Doo was broken once I realized whoever they meet early in the episode, you don't see again. That's who the bad guy is every episode, and that kind of ruined it for me. So.
Yeah.
Yes,
Muad'Dib.
Very clearly, obviously, Dune reference. Just a big Dune guy. I don't by any means think that I can be many places at once. I just like the name, instead of just plain Mike. Yeah.
I mean, I call myself Wizard. I didn't even name myself. Somebody just said, "Call yourself Andrew's Wizard that Reads." I was like, "All right."
It's a good name. Just finished Gray Bastards. I think you'll have fun with it. It's very sweary.
Yes, it's very sweary. You think my name's good? Alan didn't like it at first. He said it kept reminding him of Wizards of Waverly Place. He said that during his 3K live show.
Well, it's like, hey, thanks for the shout out, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Yes, I did. I showed them about 10 minutes ago, and Wrath is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great series, and I mean, it's to the point still. Like when I find someone who doesn't like it, I'm like, what? What is going on?
There's a lot of people who just don't like Malice, and I was like, hey, I mean that's your taste. I don't understand, but
I thought I went into it expecting it not to be. I really enjoyed it. I'm like, if this is the worst this series has to offer, it's one of my all-time favorites. And long story short, it's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to get the Bloodsworn, man. I really need to.
Oh, at first I thought this said sweatpants go surprisingly well with weed. And I'm like, well, goddamn, Philip.
Oh, no. With tweed. The tea is important.
One day I'm going to reread Dune. First time I did like it, but never really got invested. But after I read it, it never left my mind. I enjoyed the 2021 movie. Now I really want to read Dune. Well, obviously, I'm going to suggest that you do, So.
I mean, if you love it, you can always get this handsome Dune edition.
One of my patrons, Theo, bought me that thing. That's why Theo is ride or die for life. Anything he wants. You want one of my kids, Theo? Just ask. It's yours. I'll give you the loud one.
You mentioned earlier about your wife not killing you yet.
That might make her do it. I don't know. She might for like a week. She might be okay with it. I think. And then
she's like, you know what? The vacation's over. Bring him back.
Lots of talk about Otherland. Ready Player One on steroids.
Yes. That I can see that comparison. It's definitely the first book is still my favorite. I'm on the third book right now. It's one of my bucket list books, where it's like just a series. Most of my bucket list books are Stephen King, but Otherland is what has been the monkey on my back for 20 years.
Here you go. Andrew was so right about Dragonlance. It's like that pumpkin cheesecake I had years ago in Philly. When I tried it again many years later, it was nowhere near the version I had placed on a pedestal. Yeah. There's a lot of things that are better in your memory.
Dragonlance is fantastic for when you're just starting in fantasy or if you're a kid. But when you go back and look at it, some things just don't hold up. And
hey, this is wild. Evie, she's late, but she's here. Evie, I know I've got a unique guest on here when it's people I haven't seen in 2 years. So
Evie's awesome.
Have you read R.L. Stein?
I read that's Goosebumps, right?
I don't know. Here's R.L. Stein. When he first really got popular, I was already reading Stephen King, and it was to the point I was like, that feels like you're trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube with where you're at with your horror. And I just wasn't ready. I just think I was past that point.
I'm not going to say we're from a different generation, but I am 32.
Yeah.
So I did read Goosebumps.
Yeah, but my wife, she read R.L. Stein because she read it before Stephen King. I feel like once you've read Stephen King, it's like you don't go to Dean Koontz.
Although I remember some weird story about they put on some expired suntan lotion and turned into werewolves. That's the kind of that's the kind of stuff that R.L. Stein writes.
Oh, I liked Fear Street that they did on Netflix. That was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
I just got rid of Netflix. I refuse to keep paying their price bumps.
I think it's as long as I say under $20, I'll keep doing it. But once it gets past there, it's like, all right, this is no. I'm just gonna be paying for cable again.
I got rid of the HD. I got rid of the multiple screens, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna be $10," and I was like, "No, bye."
I think that was.
I know, Ryan. Yeah, it probably is.
Also about
Ryan's
Ryan,
a great guy.
he actually does a thing where he'll do sprays edges on his books.
Yeah, yeah,
amazing. I wish I could do stuff like that, man. I'm terrified of ruining my books. So
I love talking with Ryan in Discord.
I think I'm trying to get caught up on some of these things here. Now that people are talking to each other, guys. Terry liked the Legends and Lattes.
Yes, it's a super relaxing read. It's not promising high action. It's not promising, evil overlords and villains. It's just like, hey, you want a cup of coffee? I'll make you one.
Sometimes that's fun. That's what I was kind of saying about people.
That's all it is.
Like a big, crazy world building epic, guys. Sometimes it's just you want some candy. So.
Yeah. That's all it is. It's absolutely fantastic. And I know you weren't like super hot on Unsold, but that's also what Cradle is to me.
Actually, Will White's brother messaged me today on Instagram.
Really?
From Will White's account. And at first I was like, oh wow, cool. Will White's contacted me. And I was like, is he gonna be mad that I didn't love his book? But no, they said that like him and Will watched it and they thought that was completely fair and they're really excited that they hope I keep going with it. So but he just did like some crazy Kickstarter, and I think he's got 12 billion books to sign now. So I think his brother's got him locked in a room doing that, and he's taking care of his social media for him. So yeah, it's always cool when if an author actually watches your video. I think that's, as a content creator, that's the coolest thing.
We were speaking earlier. We both talked to Stephen Aaron, and then I've got a few indies like Jim Wilborn, where is Jim Wilborn?
So is Will White still considered indies?
Yes.
It's really okay. So he hasn't go through a publisher yet. Still, he
does not go through a publisher. He prints his own stuff, and it's all him. But he's big enough
that the Michael J. Sullivan thing now, and he's just doing everything through Kickstarter. That's great.
Pretty much, yeah.
Great. Well, look, Fantasy Fanatic. I could talk about John Gwynne all the time, but here's the problem: is I have to admit that I haven't started Hunger of the Gods yet. So that's hard for me to admit.
I just got it today
because it's a book. I haven't actually got my physical copy. I still got that review copy. But here's the thing, guys, is I started reading Insomnia and it got me really itching to go back to Dark Tower. So I started reading Wizard and Glass and said, okay, I'll do Hunger of Gods after I do Wizard and Glass. But guys, it doesn't take me but a couple of days to get through a Stephen King book because I can't really stop. But yeah, I'm very excited to continue with that series because I liked Bloodsworn, the first book, quite a bit. And anytime you got like Vikings in a book, I'm usually pretty interested. It didn't really take very much to hook me after that. But you haven't started Bloodsworn yet, right?
No.
I'm finish.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where like I've got so much on the go, and like I keep making all my TBRs, and it just never seems to make it on the TBR. Mm-hmm. And so it may be one of those things. I know he's just started outlining, and he's just now getting back to work on the trilogy. So it may be one of those things where I wait maybe till next year to start it, just to kind of see what's going on with it.
Dance is stopping by to say hi on my lunch break. I think he's in New Zealand. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a huge time difference.
Island. He's the one who recommended Anna Stevens to me. So very, very. He's got some good opinions, I believe. He's helped me find some stuff that I see. That's another guys. I would have never picked up that series if someone had recommended. Actually, Stephen Arians. He's very big on that series as well. So.
Is he? I'm getting huge David Gemmell vibes from reading it. So
I haven't done Gemmell yet.
Gemmell's one of those ones where like you read the first book and you're just like, oh, well, in his Drenai series, you're like, you read the first book and you're like, it's good, but like it's definitely aged. And then like as each one comes out, you see him get better and better and better and better until it just like takes off.
I watched The Last Jedi and refused to watch Rise of Skywalker. I just got into the EU books, read the Thrawn trilogy recently. Well, this is the way, Missy. That's definitely the way. Because to me, that's canon, and the Disney stuff is the fan fiction. Okay, so yeah. That's just shame. It's a shame too because I liked Force Awakens. I was very optimistic about it, and everybody knows where I stand on this so far. They know where I stand. So halfway through First Law, I expected it to be grimmer and darker. Even the torture scenes are glossed over. Wow, Jennifer. All right.
Okay.
It's like my kid watched Rambo 2 with me last night. Rambo 2.
Yeah, I saw that.
Body counts ever. You know what he said?
What?
I thought I could have had a higher body count. I'm like, you got a future in Grimdark for sure.
Yeah. He's going for it.
Yes, we all love the Brothers Gwen.
We do love the Brothers Gwen.
I watch their channel. I'm like, I can only hope that my boys grow up to be, super awesome together like that. Like they really get along that well.
They do the like reenacting and the sword fighting, and it's just. I wish I was that cool. Like I'm not. Like 9 times out of 10, if you ask where's Andrew, he's in the corner reading.
Evie says you're definitely tame right now.
Yeah,
very low energy.
She's seen me on a couple of reading sprints where things just got out of hand.
Oh, here we go. Where I called out my moderator, says Discord games sound like way too much work. Maybe Jane can run it. She's barely in any real logs. Jane, guys, is one of my moderators, my awesome Aussie, as I call her. She basically does like the night watch, while I'm asleep. But she has this weakness where she can't say no to any read along. Are you having the read along problem where you just want to jump in every single one of them?
I have that problem. I'm getting better at saying no.
Yeah.
I almost got pulled into the Empire trilogy that's happening on your Discord. And then like I was looking at what I had on the go, and I was just like, okay, I've got all 3 books.
My problem is I want to like reread stuff that people are doing like Hanius, and I'm like, I wish I had someone to talk to about like Hanius while I was reading it. You guys got like 25 people doing this right now. I was like, I was bothering Petrick in the middle of the night to talk about Lycanius because I didn't know anybody else who had read it. So yeah,
I just finished Lycanius last month.
Did you enjoy it?
I did like it. I think the ending could have been a little stronger.
Really? See, that's what I think was amazing about it. I thought the ending was incredible.
No, I liked how it wrapped up his story, but where we left everybody. We just kind of left everybody, and then we kind of resolved that whole time issue, and then we kind of never go back to them, and we never see what happens.
Philip was down with Wizard and Glass. Maybe he liked dry humping things.
He did.
Philip, I feel like now we will be able to have like our palaver, you and I, because I'll actually finish Dark Tower probably before you now, because I'm going to be running through the end of it now with the read along. So I'm going to be Wizard and Glass, and then next month, 5, 6, 7, we're going to do them. We're going to do Went Through the Keyhole. So
is the next one Went Through the Keyhole? Because that's the next one I'm doing.
It's where it takes place chronologically, but since they're first time readers, they're going to read it at the end.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do Went Through the Keyhole next month along with The Stand, because I've never read The Stand.
Baby, can you dig your man? Well, The Stand, you were talking about The Stand. Now, when I did the review for The Stand, I started doing it into the multiverse. I was doing it in publication order. And little did I know that literally when I had that on the schedule, the buyers that shall not be named had been really heavy for like a month.
Oh, no.
So I was like, I swear to God, I didn't plan this, guys. But I think that's why that review is probably one of the most viewed Stephen King reviews on my channel. I think it's like 50,000 views now. Even Jim Butcher told me he watched it. So yeah, it was.
I have like 76,000 views on my channel in its entirety.
I have some channel. Look, what's so weird is like I will look at other channels and they have like maybe 2,000 subscribers, and they'll have Stephen King content that has like 250,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I've got a decent sized audience. And my Stephen King stuff is so hit or miss. It's so weird.
I don't know how it happens. Like I remember, I'll see people were like, "Oh yeah, my Way of King's review hit 15,000." That's Jimmy, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, my such and such review did 300." A typical book review for me does like 250 to 300.
It's so weird because there's like something that I feel like this is going to do really, really well, and then it does like nothing, and then something. My most viewed video on my channel was my favorite horror novels of all time. And that was one that I did as like a throwaway. I had extra time and just made it on the fly. And it's going to get like 300,000 views by the end of this year.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I mean, it works. My favorite is urban fantasy. People want more urban fantasy content. My urban fantasy video, nowhere close, but 2,500 views. And like no other video comes close.
You'll find one, do Kindle reviews. Apparently Kindle reviews do very well.
I actually bought a new Kindle because I found
you
out
go.
about that warm setting, and I was like, mine doesn't have that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I get lots of stuff about Feist here. So I think that Rift War is a little more popular.
Yes, Rift War is really great. I read the quartet, air quotes quartet, depending on how you speak about it. I finished that a couple months ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. For traditional fantasy, it's not like Williams style prose, but it's got its place in the conversation.
Okay.
For sure, it does something unique where you don't have a set titular hero. There are times where you're like, oh yeah, this is my protagonist. Wait, where did he go? He's been gone for 300 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just been following somebody else. It also, your typical Portal fantasy does, from our world to a fantasy world. Mm-hmm. This one does a fantasy world to a fantasy world. And so it's really, really interesting. I really enjoyed that series.
Vinley was the character whose name we couldn't remember from Rhythm of War, and Brent takes it home here.
I wish I could forget. I mean, I don't regret reading Rhythm of War. I regret getting super excited about Rhythm of War. So if I'd had lower expectations, maybe I might have gotten a little bit more out of it. But
Sean doesn't like wax either.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Wayne outshines Wax in that first book. He absolutely does. And then, I mean, can you beat Ten Soon?
That was really when I realized what all I was caring about reading that was just the Era 1 characters showing back up. I was like, this probably is.
Yeah, when you're more excited about the cameos than anything else.
Like I said, I felt like like it was the Star Wars sequels. Like, the only thing I'm there for is to see like the original characters, and it's like lesser versions of them. So why
exactly?
What's up, Eddie? I hope you're still
Eddie.
here.
I chat with Eddie all over the place.
See, then you get the saying. You get everybody that says, "Well, you're crazy. Era 2 is so much better than
yeah." Ryan's one of my patrons. He's a great guy, though.
Oh, Ryan's awesome. He's one of my patrons. Yeah, he's great.
Oh man, there we go.
He's the one who, without him and Mark, I never would have read Jay Kristoff. So I would definitely always give Ryan credit for that. So
yeah,
I walked away from the Black Company after book 1.
That first book is so rough. It's so the thing with Black Company is the way that they refer to the enemy, like it's done in like military veteran speak. But as a casual fantasy reader, if you don't know how like military veterans speak, you're just like, who's the enemy? Like, or I forget what they're called. It was something and then but like there's wizards who are referred to as titles. So I just assumed that's what they meant. And then I was like, what do you mean they're fighting hordes of people? You're referring to a single character. Oh, no, that single character was a horde of people. And so the way the terminology, and plus it's only 8 chapters long. Each chapter is like 70 pages. I'm exaggerating. It's like 35 pages.
I've got 10 of the books. So,
Alan loves Croker. Alan loves Croker, which is the chronicler from the Black Company. But like even Alan would be like, oh yeah, books 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8 aren't really all that good, but those other ones are amazing.
Just read the odd number of ones.
Yeah.
Lots of Mistborn 2 thoughts here. Is meh.
It's very divisive.
Probably the shortest book I've DNF'd. Actually, it was a stupid name.
People are just coming at us.
Oh,
it's good. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming.
Apples and bananas. All right. Well, I mean, hey, do what works for you, my friend.
What did you think of the new Batman? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, lucky for you, I did a non-spoiler review on the channel. Now, I actually liked it quite a bit. I think it was definitely the most comic accurate Batman.
Because it leans more to the detective side of him?
Yeah, it really does. But it's like, it's just like, it's way more of a thinker. It's not a lot of action. It is probably about 30 minutes too long, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But I don't know. I never really expected much because I use the Heath Ledger rule, as I call it, and I wait until I see an actor in the role before I pan it. But I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't excited about Pattinson. I was like, we're just going to get smaller and smaller with these Batman, huh? We're just going to make them like little twigs. And he got
They're
pretty
doing
good
the
shape,
cut physique.
But he's got the jaw. He's got a really good jaw and stuff. And I think I kind of came around when he was in Tenet, which even though I thought that movie made no sense like whatsoever, I was like,
I didn't even try.
If Pattinson's a good enough actor for Chris Nolan, he's good enough for me to play Batman. Okay, but yeah, I think it was really good. It was definitely worth seeing. I'm excited to see what they do next. And we finally got like a really good version of Riddler, so I'm excited about that. Not just someone acting like the Joker and with question mark blazer.
There was supposedly an Asylum Joker scene that didn't make the movie. And it's creepy.
That's an interesting choice. I feel like they need to stay away from that.
The Joker
you're
for a
going to
while.
get so many comparisons. I mean, and the Leto thing didn't go over very well, so I think they need to just stay away from that character for a minute. There's Batman's got such a great rogues gallery, guys. Try some other things.
Supposedly Jensen Ackles is going to be doing Batman on the CW.
Well, my wife will be watching. That's pretty much her
channel.
Get out of jail free card celebrity with me is Jensen Ackles, because she's a big Supernatural fan. And you know what? He's such a pretty guy. I get it.
He owns a brewery in Texas, doesn't he?
Yeah. I would love to make a Booktube channel to talk to other book nerds, but I don't think I can handle all the negative comments and people just being mean. Kayla, I get that. With me, is like I said, at this point, I find it hilarious. Who's going to take that one? I would never imagine taking my time out of the day to say something mean to someone on YouTube. Partly because I know how much work goes into content creation. A lot of people are like, well, we just turn the camera on and press upload and we're done. There's a lot more that goes into it than that. But the other side is just like, I don't know, kind of what he said earlier. Like, my mama taught me, if I can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. I just stop playing if I don't think a video is working for me. So, yeah, I get that it doesn't work for everybody, and if I still doing this when I was suffering, from major depression, yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing this. But yeah.
Yeah. When you released your keto video, that really helped me. I did a full diet change for like 3 months. I dropped like 15 pounds. I was more energetic. I need to get back to it. I fell off the wagon for the holidays, and there's just too many sweets and candies around. I just couldn't say no. And
I'm back on it, but now I'm worried about this weekend for Easter. There's gonna be lots of candy floating around the house.
Yeah, I'm on the struggle bus right now, but I'll get there.
I didn't realize Feist had so many books until I just added the 3 with Janny Wirtz. Janny Wirtz is a name I had never heard until recently, and now I hear it every day. It's weird how this happens, right?
Yeah. So she's got to Ride Hell's Chasm, which is a standalone that's supposedly pretty good. Petra collects that one. And then it's a War of Alliance. No, I'm gonna get this wrong. War of Alliance and Light, or the Alliance of War and Light. I don't know. It's this big epic 10-book series of just chunkers that people are starting to talk about now. There's a few read-alongs getting kicked up about it. I don't know where, but it's definitely. I want to get into Wirtz, especially because I do have those Empire books with Feist that I hear are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I hear really good things about him. Best thing about having a small startup channel is that everyone who watches your videos will most likely be positive.
That's actually
wild
true.
about that is I podcasted before this, first about sports and then about media. And you're going to get some of the nastiest comments that you can imagine in those two things right there. So when I first started doing this, I was telling my wife, I was like, I can't believe it. It's weird. It's like 99% of my comments are like super positive. And you know what her response was? Because stupid people don't read.
Well, one of the good things about starting a Booktube channel is there's a default start video that you can do. It's called the Booktube newbie tag. And when you do that, a lot of channels, I know Megan used to do it. I think Leslie used to do it. I used to do it. I would go in and I would search Booktube newbie tag. I would look for recent uploads and I would go in and drop a comment, drop a like, watch their video, see what they were about. And a lot of content creators are willing to put in time and effort to search and support and bring up newer channels, because it's all about growing collectively. It's not about the competition. And so there's just a lot of great support out there on Booktube, because we are really a community of readers and friends. Now, you do have your rivalries. You do have people who don't get along. You do have people who are there to just be contrary. But I mean, mostly 9 times out of 10, a YouTuber or a booktuber, I should say, is more than willing to either offer advice or to just drop you a like and a quick comment.
Yeah, I tried telling that people think it's like this big, like, drama thing. I was like, there is some of that there. Obviously when you got age gaps in some of these things, I'm in my 40s, you're in your 30s. There's most booktubers are in their 20s. There's going to be things that generations don't click with. I don't know. I mean, I think everybody thinks their generation's the best, but my generation, we just said, if you mind your business. That's just kind of the way that we always just kind of conduct ourselves. So I really cared about that. But I always said I was never going to say anything bad about another content creator. And I don't think that I have. I will admit that there are some channels, not for me, but I can see why people love them and things like that. But I haven't really encountered too many, mean people that are fellow content creators. Because like I said, we all know what each other has to go through in some of these things.
Yeah.
The upkeep that it takes for it. And, when I first started working with some of those other ones, like Philip, for example, just people that was like, these are like some of the most kind people I've ever met. And
Philip is one of the nicest guys I have ever had the privilege of talking to.
Yeah. Every once in a while, just like email me, just be like, hey, who just want to make sure that you and the family are doing okay? Yeah, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so, he's awesome. Yeah. Absolutely great guy.
This guy here, though, I don't know. He's still a little sus to me.
He's got those fingerless gloves. Although now that I poke fun, I actually like fingerless gloves. So I've just kind of.
I do not own fingerless gloves.
I've got a pair of like compression gloves that are for like arthritis, and because I do a lot of typing during the day. I work in data entry and contract review and stuff like that. And so I do have fingerless gloves that I wear on a regular basis. And then if it's winter, I have a pair of knitted fingerless gloves as well. So I can't make fun of Alan without making fun of myself. And so
Mike and Alan are my favorite booktubers. Well, that's rarefied air to be in, because I mean this in a great way. I think that Alan and I are completely opposite with what we do here. And that's why I love his channel. That's why I enjoy it. Because what does he say? Like, he doesn't want to read long books.
He doesn't want to read long books, and he refuses to read popular books.
Yeah. So I was like, obviously, I do love me some door-stopper size novels and things like that. Obviously, cutting my teeth on Stephen King, really. So I just think things like that are just really, really amusing. And I haven't read any Daniel Abraham yet, so I feel like I will have a wealth of knowledge when I do dip into Dagger and the Coin.
Where is it?
I had Long Price also, but I said I was probably going to do Dagger and the Coin first.
I love Long Price Quartet. I mean, literally Long Price Quartet, which you probably heard Alan talk ad nauseum about it, but I just finished it last month. And it literally, from the first page, you can tell he's planned everything out. And it's very character focused. There's not a lot of action. There's not a lot of swearing. There's not a lot of sex. It's all political machinations with just like, it's almost like the butterfly effect with like, you set one thing in motion and then this Rube Goldberg machine just takes off and it all just blows up in somebody's face. And it's just awesome to see.
See, we're going back to like an hour of the conversation ago. Confirm about Stephen Pacey. I'm currently listening to The Heroes. So is he doing these like really, really just epics? So I'm thinking about like the most awkward sex scene I can think in that series. It's in Best Served Cold. And I can't imagine anybody reading that part out loud.
Oh, he goes for it. He went for it. And you know what? You should just find somebody willing to send you a snippet of the sex scene from Best Served Cold. And so you can just get that cringe factor. It's worth it. You should suffer like the rest of us have.
See, Rocky writing would be the best thing ever. I agree. Crow, that's right. Crow finally launched his Booktube channel, guys. Crow,
that's nice.
Book reviews.
It's awesome.
So yeah, check it out, guys. He's got the nicest hair on Booktube.
Does he?
Hair. He's got some tight lettuce, y'all. Watch it out.
I thought Alan had the best hair on Booktube.
I read Dune, and Paul seems very Mary Sue to me. I get that criticism. I get it. Same with Darrow and Red Rising. I get that criticism. Yeah. It would be way too long of a deconstruction for me to do that right now. But
I always say, whenever I'm referring to a female character, I say Mary Sue, and whenever it's a male character, I say Gary Stu.
Yeah, Gary Stu. Yeah. What are you guys' most surprising books? One that you thought you'd hate but love. Nevernight. Jay Crystal.
Oh gosh, I hate being put on the spot. One that I thought I would hate, probably. Now I'm just looking around my collection trying to find an answer. Prince of Thorns.
Oh,
by Mark Lawrence.
I didn't finish that series because I thought Jorg was a psychopath.
George is a psychopath.
Oh, if you feel like you have to rant a lot, why are you reading such bad books?
I mean, that's why I don't read books that I'm not vibing with. I usually stop, unless, like Robin Hobb. We're gonna go back to Rain Wild, of course, but it was part of the series, and I wanted to be a completionist and say I've read all of Realm of the Elderlings, all 16 books, and so I forced myself through those.
I don't know. I mean, I think the only time I've ever gotten to like, oh yeah, those are like bad books. I can't think of anything that I've covered where it's just like most people have said they're bad books, except, I mean, I didn't really cover it, but I was reading the Lee Bardugo books, just for the L's. But I didn't cover that really on the channel, so I can't think of anything that my audience would overwhelmingly say is terrible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So I'm keeping Andrew too late here, guys. I think it's past bedtime.
Well, I do have a small child that I do need to put to bed.
Well, God, man, when people got like a real life thing. This is my problem. When I talked to AP and we talked for like 3+ hours, and then we talked for like 2 hours after we were done, I was like,
I would love to. My daughter's currently at the age where it's only daddy will do, and everybody else gets tantrum.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like my youngest will not let me put him to bed. It has to be mom.
Oh, really? It has to be mom?
It has to be. And I'm like, well, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. No, but yeah, it's just kind of how it is. But I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me this long, because anytime absolutely. I can ask for this much time from someone's personal time during a week,
not a problem.
I'm very excited to do it. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad that we finally made this happen, and I look forward to talking soon.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll read some more King, and we can probably do a Palavar.
I would love to do it. You got to read The Stand. That's the prerequisite. You got to read The Stand.
The Stand is next month.
See, now I'm terrified you're going to DNF it. All
right. we will see. I'm going to do the audiobook, and we'll see, because it's a 49-hour audiobook.
Is it really?
Yeah.
God.
It
is. I always tell people, don't go into that like thinking that's a book I got to finish. Just be like, I'm not going to be doing anything else for a while. That's what I tell them when you read that book. I think so.
Yeah, it's so long.
Well, man, thanks so much, and we will talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you guys for chatting with us the whole time. It was a definite new wrinkle to the format. I'm very, very excited.
Live works.
I hope I go in and don't have like a problem when I'm like, hey, where is it? After I press in broadcast, does it just like disappear? I don't know. But all right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.